Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast. Almost time for HallowStream, HallowStream, HallowStream. Almost time for HallowStream from the S.H.U.D.cast.
We're live!
Live!
Hey!
Wait, the intro or no?
No, we're
Oh,
live.
okay.
Hey! Back!
Welcome to the HallowStream, first edition of 2021.
Yes. New year, new me.
New year, new me.
That is the theme for tonight's episode and game. As you can see, our Monsterator is definitely, I mean, it's not new to me, but it's new,
Yeah.
is embodying the theme tonight. Lucas, what is our theme for this evening, this January edition of the HallowStream?
Tonight, we dive into the pleasures of the flesh and explore a body horror.
Yes. Body horror. A
We've
particularly aggressive subgenre, as I learned.
Yes, aggressive in many ways. We selected 8 films off of a master list that was much wider to exemplify what we thought body horror was. We had not all seen those films before. You'll learn about what those are if you have been following our Instagram over the last couple of weeks. We'll tell you what those films are in a second. But body horror, we've all went through a journey, I believe, on what we consider body horror, and I don't think we'll even come to a consensus on what that is tonight. But does someone want to start
Gloves are
with a
definitely coming off.
yeah?
Or
think it's
the
interesting
skin
that
on my hands is going to come off.
There it is. That's appropriate.
I think part of it is there isn't a general consensus on what body horror is. I think it's a pretty wide net in doing our initial research.
Yeah, it's more that it's a genre trope than anything.
Yeah.
Then there's those select subsets of movies that are body horror movies, which seem to be, as after doing this, in my opinion, pretty few and far between according to my definition.
Mm.
I would agree. I think a lot of things, because if you extrapolate too much, almost any horror movie could be considered body horror by some accounts, in that something horrible happens to a body. Like if you get murdered, your body dies, and that's a horrible thing. Is that body horror? I don't think so.
Well, at that rate, I think you can go back a couple centuries to literature that's horror related and consider it body horror. You know, I mean, I think there's an argument to say that Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is a form of body horror, right?
Right.
And then, of course, you get into the 50s where you get the Blob. That's classically considered a body horror movie. You get the 60s and 70s. Well, I've even heard arguments that Rosemary's Baby is a body horror movie.
But I've also heard the Blob called a creature feature.
It's just an element of. That's why I think that it's more a genre trope than it is a subgenre. But again, it depends on your definition.
Yeah.
Well, I think
And
there is a subgenre. I just think it's not as wide a net as people cast it.
Or if they cast it, it's wider than maybe we might feel that it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there probably are very few films that are pure body horror movies. Though I will be making the case probably for a couple of these to be a body horror film. It feels like it's more about scope and the specificity of the story it's trying to tell. Like I wrote out my big douchey definition, which you guys heard. It's I define body horror. Movies which display a desire to alter, a fascination with the alteration, or the results of forced upon alterations to the human corporeal form, often in gruesome detail and containing sexual or existential allegories.
It's so wordy.
I would.
know.
Yeah,
There's so many big words there.
I know.
Yeah,
$10 word night.
Textbook one.
Yeah, the way I was going to say it was like, "Oh, when bad things happen to your body."
Well, as we've noticed, it's
Something
from these
holds.
movies, which we will describe here in a sec. There is a sexual and existential element to the ones I think we'll closely consider to be a body horror film. So that seems to be tied in pretty in depth to some of these.
My dumbed down version is as a genre, it's films that depict violations of the human body and use that imagery as a vehicle to horrify the viewer, propel the story, and create a focal point for thematic discussion.
Ah, interesting. So yours hinges on the fact that it uses the imagery a lot, which is interesting.
Yes, I think that to me is a pinnacle of it, but I think that imagery, as we'll find tonight when we do these discussions, can be used in various ways that don't necessarily have to be in the traditional form that we're used to thinking of with body horror. For instance, I think that Eraserhead is a fantastic body horror movie, but I would also feel like many people would probably disagree with me about that.
I would disagree. For me, the core of the film needs to stem from horrible things happening to your body. That needs to be the main focus. So in our initial polling for the list, a lot of people listed The Thing as a body horror movie, and I reject that because once horrible things are happening to their bodies, they are no longer themselves. At that point, they are dead and they have been assimilated, and we are seeing the Thing act out its crazy abilities to transform, right? So for me, that wouldn't classify, but I feel like most of, if not all, the movies on our list do, because it's an internal, it is happening to me. And on that note, I would also reject American Werewolf in London popped up a lot, which I would reject because that's a werewolf movie, and turning into a werewolf, while horrific, that transformation is not like the core of the story. I think the core of the story needs to be about like you in your body, in your consciousness, having something terrible, horrible thrust upon you by another person, by an alien, by a scientific mishap. I think that's, for me, that's sort of where I define it.
Or as Sean pointed out, he asked about what we think of if Reanimator would be on that list. I personally don't think Reanimator would be on that list, but
Nor do I.
it's an interesting discussion though, right? Because in researching this, I found that Reanimator, along with The Thing and An American Werewolf in London, were constantly on people's lists of greatest body horror movies ever made.
Which is why I think my definition, which I failed to write down, may help in this, in that I think body horror is a movie where either the protagonist or antagonist undergo a genetic mutation of some kind.
Oh wow.
Okay.
And
That's interesting.
So the alteration is from a genetic level.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
And so it takes away like chopping off arms and just like regular gore.
Yeah, Hostel can't be in the list then.
Right.
And yeah, I would never, and that also leads to those movies like that too, like Hostel and Saw. I think our producer just popped in with something, but we'll see in a second about that. Yep. But the Hostel and Saw films, I don't think qualify as body horror. It's like the most gruesome slashers aren't body horror movies. Like those are a different kind of thing while containing body horror.
Right. And I think that's where the important delineation comes into play, right? There's a difference between it being a subgenre and it being a commonly found trope in horror movies. What I do think is so important about body horror, though, is that it's why it's so effective and why it works so well and why we see it as a trope in horror movies throughout history and horror media throughout history. And that's because it taps into our most primal and basic of fears, right? It's an attack on the thing that is most familiar to us, being our bodies.
Yes.
Whether or not our bodies are foreign to us, I don't want to, disclude or discredit people that are not, in touch with their own bodies and have issues with that. It's a common factor that all humans have bodies, right? We're all watching something. We all live in these vessels, and we're watching terrible fucking shit happen to those bodies.
Right. Like, yeah, like you can watch a werewolf movie and you're immediately removed because it's sort of a fantastical situation. Or you can watch like even a slasher, like that's a bad thing happening to that group of people. But as you were touching on, like once you get into like body horror, like, yeah, that's so visceral and personal because we all have that. Like, I don't want gunky stuff coming out of my skin or eyeballs. So like when I see that happen, it gives me the oohies.
Right. And one of the movies that we're talking about tonight, I think encapsulates that so well because it really hones in on something, the concept of that, we will degrade, right? Our bodies will fade away, and that fear of our bodies decaying over time.
Mm-hmm.
And the audience thought they were here to watch us wax our legs and eat hot sauce shots. Ha! Intellectualism, first and foremost on the HallowStream, followed closely by punishments. So don't worry, you're getting them. I think that sounds like a good point to go into what movies we picked, and then the game that we are playing tonight. We are playing a game, and there will be points doled out. There is a new Hallow King, and there it is, much to my chagrin.
Curtis peed on it.
No, I just put a nice little pin on it. I did put a P on it, which is a pin somewhere.
Did when we each get it, much like the Stanley Cup, we each get to adorn it with a mark. So Curtis left this pin, this Scream arcade game pin, and I left my mark, but I think it dried, so I have to leave another mark. Yes, I'm the Hallow King. All bow before me, adorn me with jewels, and to sing songs of my greatness. So hopefully,
almost time for
after tonight, but we will see.
So the points will be the Hallow Crown is up for grabs again. The points will be tallied very simply, again, like last time, not an insane thing. But we chose 8 movies from a very wide list of films. We each selected 2. Do we each know which 2 films we selected?
No,
I do. I think.
Well, then you guys all go, and I'll figure it out from there.
Yeah.
I think I remember. I think
Austin. I know I forced Austin's hand on one of them. One that you would think was mine is actually Austin's.
Oh, interesting. I think I know which one.
And I remember now. I selected The Fly and Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Ah,
Mhm.
yes, those are two of ours.
Got it. The David Cronenberg Fly. You just did
Correct.
the Vincent Price. I selected another Cronenberg, Videodrome, and Society, the '89 film. Brian Usna.
And I brought a good plate of Tusk and a nice giant casserole of human centipede to the dinner table.
Perfect. So that leaves me, and I picked Slither, James Gunn's Slither, and apparently, due to Curtis's influence, I picked Crash, not the Oscar-winning early 2000s Crash, the 80s Cronenberg James Spader Crash that is basically porn and thus is very difficult to find and watch.
Mhm.
We had to pass around a physical DVD,
Yeah.
like
Which
it,
a
like
physical
high school.
a physical DVD which was rented from a video store that still exists.
Yeah, those still exist.
If
Rare, but yes.
if the Criterion Collection streaming service doesn't have it, you know this movie is fucked up.
Yeah.
yeah,
I was upset with that.
you're
Even
spot-
though it is a Criterion film,
Yeah,
it's fucking
they'll
ridiculous.
sell it to you, but they won't let you stream it.
Nope.
So those are our movies.
Those are 8 movies, which we all watched. And if you, dear viewer out there, have a body horror of your own that you would like to pop in and see if we think it's body horror, see if we watched it, go for it, pop it in. The Monster Editor will tell us what that is. We'll discuss it.
There's
Oh,
my-
hi.
Quick
Hi.
important note that we're just gonna take a second here.
Oh boy.
4 fine gentlemen picked 8 wonderful body horror movies, and yet none of the movies start a female lead in a horror film. So I went ahead and picked 3 female-led body horror films that you can choose to watch or enjoy. Very quickly, those were The Neon Demon, which is kind of a newer, artsy, fartsy film with some really intense model-esque body horror. Second one was Raw, which is a French film about a vegetarian who goes to veterinary school and changes her diet. And the third one was a movie called Teeth, which is about vagina teeth. And I will say it was worse than The Human Centipede. So those are 3 female-fronted body horror films for you to enjoy, not enjoy, whatever takes the cake. I will say Raw had some really interesting body horror in it that kind of made you not want to watch any of it. And Neon Demon was insane. So I will stop talking now and let the men proceed with their chatter.
Yes, let us talk about our dumb man.
Thank you, Monster Raider.
Thank you,
Thank
Monster
you.
Raider, for keeping us in check.
And for reminding us that we're chauvinist pigs.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
To be fair, one of those movies is the absolute worst movie of the bunch that I've seen. So, glad
Like
glad I
hardest
didn't-
to watch or like really, really bad?
like a terrible movie. I know. I
Oh.
think I'm in the minority opinion on that, but
No, I agree. I only saw it once, and it was like kind of when it came out, so I was young.
yeah,
Not good.
You talking about Teeth?
Yeah.
yeah. Teeth is a garbage movie.
It's got some problems.
Yeah, it's a tough watch. I'd highly suggest also just watch them, viewer, everybody, just watch them. But I'd
Yeah.
highly suggest a rewatch if you've seen it early, and it's boy, that's a tough one. I was the most high on Neon Demon though. I love Neon Demon and think that classifies quite nicely. Okay, our game tonight. Who would like to take over with this game?
Yes, we have a game.
We have a game. It's not as complicated as the last game.
It's a simple game.
Very
know-
simple.
You know that drawing of the horse that people often put up talking about Game of Thrones? It's like really artistic on the back half that gets like shittier
the photo
and shittier as
reel.
it-
Yeah.
yeah, our games are like that, like super artistic and great to like middling good to this.
We're tired. We're tired. Those games were hard, and we resent them. So we need an easy game.
Yes, we'll give you better games when we're back and able to do this in person again.
Yeah.
Yeah, until then.
Doom game.
Yeah, I don't want to invent any more board games.
If you missed our Christmas episode, it's on YouTube. You should watch it. We created a board game.
Brand new.
We created one.
It sucked.
Yeah,
It's got a Doom counter.
yeah. There's mechanics. There's all kinds of shit going on.
Yeah.
COVID-19 was involved. We had to
A
save
three-
Santa.
A 3-sided dice, which is physically impossible, but we got it.
We did our damnedest.
We did. So now we're gonna play this game, which is a wheel that is spun, and where it lands, we proceed from there.
That's correct. We have all 8 films up on this wheel, as well as our 4 punishments for the evening. So when we spin the wheel, whoever turn it is will land on a film or punishment. But let's assume we land on a film. That person will hallow down that film, which means he gets a minute to run down the summary of the thing, and we decide if it's successful or not. If it's successful, that person runs on to trivia, which the monstrator has provided for us because she's an angel, a little demon angel, and that person has an opportunity to get 1,000 points per trivia question for the one trivia question. If that person does not get it correct, the other 3 have a chance to steal it.
Oh,
So the
Oh,
first, I'd say
no.
the first one who chimes in with the correct answer that the monstrator hears gets the stolen question.
got it. Volume way up. And the winner of the trivia will receive the coveted, very expensive, not dollar store Hello Crown.
Hello, Crown. Yes. And so to the most interesting thing that you can also probably pay us to just do if it's a high enough dollar amount, the punishments.
Yes.
If we fail the hallow down, we go to the punishment board. On the punishment board, there are 4 options. Off the top of my head, they are the Brundlefly digestion, which means hot sauce. It's back, baby. There is the walrus, which is this very interesting. I have no idea how it works. Bubble mask.
Bubble mask.
We
And
will-
it is clearly a Chinese product. All of the directions are in Chinese. There is nothing in English to tell us what to do with it. But I opened the box, and there's a little plastic applicator, and so we're just gonna see what happens. I guess we just put it on our face, and we'll just take it from there.
Thankfully, Austin, the box does provide some directions. However, I do want to read one of the directions real quick before we continue with the discussion of the rules.
Yeah.
It says, note, before using any new products, it is recommended that you try the skin on the back of the ear first. If there is any discomfort or abnormal skin reaction, please stop using it.
Yeah, we might get like fucked up with this thing.
Yeah, it could burn us. I don't know. Maddie tells me it won't, but she also said it might. So
Find out.
we're going to find out.
And it's going to be fine when we have to apply it over and over and over.
Well, no,
Which
because
is the way these products are meant to be used.
no, we're not going to apply it over and over and over again, though, because that actually might be damaging. I also will note that I still have not grown the hair back on my leg from when we did the waxing.
Nor have I. I'm
Yeah,
getting
nor have I.
Alrighty then.
I still have leftover that, though.
I threw that away.
Oh, I've
Curtis,
kept that.
What are the rest of the punishments?
There is the ass to mouth, which means you take a shot of something terrible, drink of something terrible, which I think most of us, it's the leftover peppermint schnapps.
stops.
No, I actually happen to enjoy that a little bit. I bought some
Oh, yeah.
standard Russian vodka.
Standard.
Yeah, it's literally called Russian standard vodka.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. It was the cheapest bottle, and like on the little DoorDash app, it just said $14 Russian standard vodka. I was like, I'll take government vodka. That's fine. I'm sure it's great.
Kremlin vodka.
And then there is the high society shunting, which is eyeliner, so that we could properly
Eyeliner.
fit our low life selves into high society. Guyliner's fucking great to me. I love
Or
that
an
shit.
emo band.
Yeah.
Or the revival of MCR.
Yes.
This is going to be about just how shittily we put this on, because I'm really terrible with things near my eyes.
Same.
Or if
Probably gonna stab myself in the eye.
Yeah, I'm gonna
very
cry.
likely, especially because we don't have mirrors and we can only use our computer screens.
We're gonna do like one eye at a time as we get
Yes.
the punishment?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we can glob them on more and more. I
Yeah.
learned something interesting about the eyeliner today, and that is that I have no eye makeup remover at all. And I have a Zoom meeting tomorrow with the COO of the company. So
Yay, Cody.
We
this
need
is going to be very interesting.
Pretty Cody.
You work at a music label. You just got that vibe.
Yeah.
on the eyeliner note. Lucas and I used to be in a band where we had to wear eyeliner on stage
All the time.
all the time. Singer would apply it, and every time, because I couldn't do it, and every time it was the biggest struggle of my life to like not just like weep incessantly while this stabby thing was right next to my eyeballs. So I really don't want to get this, not because I don't want to be pretty, but because it'd be very uncomfortable to do in a Zoom microphone or a Zoom camera.
We were also jeered at incessantly by audiences in the mountains.
This is true. We did a gig in Mammoth, and turns out they don't. They're not quite as progressive as we are down here.
Turns out mountain people are weird. Who knew?
As are the people of the Mojave Desert, where I was called a horrible homophobic slur and almost attacked by meth heads.
I took my headphones off at a really weird moment.
Yes, you did. I'm not going to say it again. We move on.
Great. Is it game time?
I think it's game time.
I think it's fucking game time.
Welcome.
Huckleberry, if you want to throw up that big ass circle, I believe it'll be Hallow King goes first.
Oh, yeah, I would gladly like to go. I
That seems appropriate.
have other Hallow King perks that I'm not using.
Oh, you have an ability to not do a punishment.
Love it.
Once.
Also, do those roll over?
No.
No.
This is bullshit. It's like you should always have at least one if you don't use it. Anyway,
No, you biffed it.
well, all right. Now we know.
All right, spin the wheel. I don't think we're going to see the wheel, so you're going to have to tell us what the wheel does.
Yeah.
I'll see it 20 seconds. We'll see it 20 seconds later.
Where will it land? Nobody knows.
All right, he got a movie.
The Human Centipede first sequence.
Wait, do I hallow
Okay,
down first?
he's going to hallow down. So we're going to manually give you the timer.
Yes, please do.
Timer.
Okay, I should be good. I could do this.
Okay. On your mark.
Mm.
Get set. Hallow down.
There is a doctor in Germany, and he sewed together his Rottweilers to create a 3-dog that he loved very much. He's a deranged man. While waiting for a trucker to take a dump, he tranquilizes the man and brings him back to his home. Later, we meet 2 young college girls who are traveling Europe, and they're trying to find some diak, and on the way, they get lost. And so they're stumbling through the wilderness, trying to find somewhere to go, and they find a house, and lo and behold, it's the doctor's house. So they go inside, and he knocks them out and tranquilizes them, and he puts them in a bed. And the first guy he had dies, and they find a new guy. Anyway, what he wants to do is he wants to sew these 3 people together to create a human centipede. So what he does is he's going to cut their kneecaps, sew their asses to the mouths, and he does that, and they live in horrible agony. And he just kind of parades them around for a bit. Then these terrible cops show up and they're like, hey, people have been gone missing. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, well, we're going to come back. And they come back and they're all downstairs. And the human centipede has escaped and gotten a scalpel. And they cut his legs. And there's a shootout. And the first guy dies and the last girl dies. And the girl in the middle is just stuck there.
You missed probably one of the most important parts. That being that he dies. He gets shot.
I said there was a shootout. I didn't.
You didn't say the doctor dies.
No, in the shootout. That was the shootout.
Monsterator.
Does the Monsterator decide?
I'm happy with it.
I'm going to allow it because
Yeah.
you got some really good details in there. All right.
I
So
love-
moving on to trivia.
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
All right. Human centipede trivia. What is Dr. Hyder eating out of a can?
Pretty sure it's crushed pineapple.
I will accept crushed pineapple.
Yay!
Well,
Oh,
it was like
fuck.
fruit salad.
It's fruit salad.
I just remember seeing the crushed pineapple. And luckily, that was a great question for me because I noted that. and went, that's okay for a man to just be eating. The weirdest thing I saw a man eating, it was a guy I worked for. And I was leaving, and he was standing over the sink with the water running inexplicably and was eating tuna out of a can. He was eating the tuna out of the can over the sink with the water running. The water did not seem to be a factor in his lunch, but that's what was going on. Anyway, the human
Okay, bye.
That's weird.
Bye.
Austin, tell us why this movie is body horror.
This movie, so
Or
Thi-
rather, do you think it's body horror?
that's a better way to phrase it. I'm going to say yes, because this fits into having horrible things put onto your or done to your body without your consent. I would include that in my umbrella term. Again, going back to like for me, the core of body horror has to be like the core of the horror stems from horrible body things. The core of this movie, and actually the only reason this movie exists, is for these three people to be sewn together, be hole to mouth hole, and just live in agony for a while. So I would say yes, it qualifies as body horror. But the body horrorness is not a afterthought. It's not secondary. That is the primary horror.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And that's also why I really do not like this movie, because it is front and center to the story and the plot. And I feel like they could have been so much more. You could have fucking gone there. You could have gone so much hardcore. And I know I've seen the sequel, and he does go there pretty hardcore in the sequel. But your movie's The Human Centipede. It's like you just see the opportunity there, and that's very aggravating to not get that.
I totally agree. This movie felt very much like he had the idea for wouldn't it be crazy if three people were sewn together in this way, and kind of just figured out a story. Like there's so many scenes in this that are just like padding. Like when the girl, but right before her operation, she like kind of escapes for a bit. That whole thing just felt like padding for time, and all the cop stuff just felt like padding for time. Why would they leave? Why the fuck would they leave and then come back 10 minutes later? So this movie's just, it felt like the guy had the idea and kind of figured out a story and didn't do a great job, because it just feels, and then once they are the human centipede, it's like, okay, and they just stand there for a while. They kind of parade around like a little bit,
Yeah, he just basically, the whole movie is just basically, it thrives on degrading human beings, right? I think in essence, like at the root of it, it's body horror, right? It doesn't, and I guess it does fit my definition, because it's literally being used as the vehicle to horrify, and it propels the story. It's the only thing that's propelling a story. But it's not, there's really no thematic, there's no thematic discussion to be had.
No.
I don't think, at least.
No, that's it.
Now, on the other hand, I know that Lucas loves this movie.
I adore this movie.
And so I'll admit, but Lucas, I want you to tell us why you love it so much. But so this was number 7 on my list.
Me too, I think.
It was my rock bottom, number 8.
Yeah, okay. It's 7 for me.
This is number 5.
Okay. All right. Well, it's
high
actually
praise.
It's actually lower than I thought it was going to be on your list, Lucas. Why do you love this movie so much?
I think for the exact reason you guys are shitting on it.
Because it's so simple. It's just
because it's just a movie that a guy came over and was like, I want to show a movie where people are sewn ass to mouth in sequence, and that's just it. I don't, and like just the process of some studio going like, yeah, we'll make that movie for you, man, is like mind-boggling to me.
I agree. They got money. They got like make this.
And it's a great looking movie. It's well shot, good sound. It's like the whole bit. Technically, I think good movie.
It is.
He put the money where it needed to be, because when it started, I was like, "Oh, this looks like garbage." It's not. When they get to the house, it looks good.
Yeah. I think maybe a lot of the love for this movie for me lives in nostalgia, because I think I saw it when it came out, and my jaw was dropped the whole time at what I was looking at.
First time I saw it, yes, I remember that exact same feeling of just like, what the fuck is this?
Like you forget, when you walk out of that movie, you forget there's a plot or any semblance of a plot, because you just watched a Japanese man scream shit into another woman's mouth.
The only way for me to see that, when this movie came out, I was living in Missouri, in the middle of Missouri, and going to college, and the only way for me to see it was to buy it. So I owned it for the longest time. And when we went to go do this, I went to go grab the DVD to watch it, and I think I might have sold it at one point.
Wow.
because not a big fan.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say in praise of the movie, I forget his name, but the actor who played the doctor,
Yeah,
Dieter?
Dieter Laser.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's Dieter Laser, fucking sold it, man. It was
Yeah.
fucking insane.
it was great.
I mean, and to that, like, it's an interesting thing because like that, it's engaging. Like most of the movie's really engaging
yeah, I wasn't
between.
bored. I was just disappointed.
Mhm.
Well, but then again, it's also like, what for you who disappointed, it's like, what were you expecting though, right?
More, first of all, and I understand they're trying to avoid the NC-17, but they're in diapers. Come on. If I'm not gonna see the like skin, like if I'm not gonna see the disgust, like what are we doing here? You know what I
We
mean?
got to see the full BM too. That tail girl's got to shit that shit out.
And I was expecting like poo poo coming out of the stitches. Like what I'm saying is, and this is all vile, gross stuff that I don't endorse. But if you're already there, let's go. No half measures, dude. No,
I can't help but think though, like those are studio notes going like, we're not going to make this movie if you don't cover up the last girl.
well, yeah, of course, because
You know what I mean?
why does she have underwear on? Why would he get?
Yeah.
I agree. It was all to avoid the NC-17, so I understand it. But as like if I'm trying to get this visceral response from seeing this monstrosity sewn together, I need to see the monstrosity sewn together. Like another movie that's kind of similar showed the monstrosity sewn together, and that I enjoyed. So if we're gonna do it, let's do it, baby. That's what I'm saying. Why I was like that.
Human centipede.
Yeah, human
That's
centipede.
that.
Shall we
Hell
move,
yeah.
shall we move on?
I think we're moving
Yeah, we
on.
can move on.
Okay, moving
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Yes,
Lucas,
Lucas,
this was fifth. This was fifth on yours, right?
Fifth. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's amazing.
All right. Should it be me?
I suppose so. You were the
Suppose.
second in command for the Hallow crown.
From the office
Great.
of the former Hallow King.
Oh God. All right, Huckleberry, throw that
Spin that wheel.
wheel up there and tell us what I get.
And make sure you take away the movies as we do them.
I messaged Huck to do so, but it's fine.
Well,
We gotta figure this out. You know.
no, you can leave it. Oh, he got punished?
Oh fuck.
Oh, he got punished.
You got to do
We do have the punishments on this board for whatever fucking reason.
I know, I thought it was a separate thing.
That's magnificent. I want to point out that I actually suggested we don't do this.
Yeah, I did too, but something got lost, and that's fine because now you got to do it. Do it. Make sure you get right up in the camera. So,
No.
for anyone who may have missed it, he got the well, you saw it on the thing. He's got to do the eyeliner now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, maybe this was a bad idea, and I just take one for the team, and the rest of us don't have to do this shit.
So, we're not going to play it for licensing reasons because that's Cody's job. But just imagine "Goodbye Horses" by Q right now.
Oh no.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's actually doing quite well.
Good. Oh, it's making my eyes water just watching it.
I
Yeah, it's a little
know.
uncomfortable.
This is the horror of it.
Oh, you're doing a good job. Get in there, buddy. Oh, you're doing it, man. He's good.
He's
Jess.
very good at this.
You're very good at this.
You're very good at this, Curtis. Oh,
Oh, don't do that.
maybe not.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, you got cocky. You got cocky at the end there. No, you got to leave it. No touch ups. That's pretty good. So we're just doing one lid at a time.
That's not good.
Let's see it from afar.
Like a.
Oh,
like a
yeah,
I feel like it's
rogue.
supposed to be like up there, and I just
Yeah,
I
it's-
probably do.
Yeah, you're too. I can't do it either. Mine's gonna be like on my nose. I can't.
Oh
even-
yeah. Jessica, can you please come in and rate his
Yeah.
how he did with this?
Yeah, you can give us.
Oh no. It's because I
Curtis, what are you doing?
can't get up there. I don't like it.
Why
Yeah,
are you doing it here?
Why are you pulling your eyeball like you're pulling it so far down?
I have to there's like a low fidelity. Like it's like low fidelity. I can't.
Right. I don't know why you're still going. Like,
You do this part.
oh, you don't do the inner part. See, we can
Yeah,
learn
you-
from his fuck up.
You do the outside. So everybody else next when you do it, don't do what Curtis did.
Okay.
I don't even know what he did wrong. I'm not
So
gonna lie.
don't cover my tear ducts with eyeliner.
Correct.
Okay.
You need
You look
those
like
for
a mom.
crying later.
Right. I got
It's
you.
like a mime.
Great. This is
You
wonderful.
look great. I can't wait for.
But how else am I gonna look like someone broke up with me at prom if I don't cover my tear ducts?
Well, we're just gonna have someone break up with you at prom.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on to whoever's next. To
Onto the wheel again.
I don't know why you're still
Great.
going. I think you're fine.
Is it me or Luke?
because now I like want it to be better.
You, Cody.
Oh, it's me. Okay.
Cody be next. All right, Huck. Spin that wheel. Give him the. What was the thing you really didn't want? Oh, the eyeliner. Give him the eyeliner too. He's got a meeting.
Yeah, I done fucked up about that. Those punishments on the board.
Mm-hmm. Video drum.
Oh boy. Okay.
Cody gets Videodrome. God damn it.
Video drum. All right, I'll run the clock on this one.
Need a moment.
I'm gonna touch up while you do this.
All right, Cody, you have to recap the plot of Videodrome in 1 minute, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Max is the president of a seedy cable company that they specialize in snuff, really, or in smut. He's looking for the next weird, crazy thing. He learns of a signal called Videodrome, which is basically snuff. He starts dating this woman. He shows it to her. She gets kind of interested in it because she's kinky. She decides to go on audition and she disappears. Then Max starts hallucinating pretty much for the rest of the movie. And then he tries to track down Videodrome and he gets sent to this guy named Brian Oblivion, who's actually dead. He was a philosopher that tried to use Videodrome to
30 seconds.
push his fundamentals onto people, but his partners wanted to do something else with it. Max then learns that Videodrome is actually giving him hallucinations because it's causing a brain tumor in his brain. Max is then contacted by Brian Oblivion's partner, Barry Convex. Barry Convex uses Videodrome to brainwash him into going to kill his partners at his cable company, but then Bianca Oblivion, Brian Oblivion's daughter, brainwashes him to go kill Barry Convex. He kills Barry Convex, and then he sees then he shoots himself in the head, and the movie's over.
I don't know.
That's a Videodrome.
Do we give him that? It was detailed.
I think so.
It was detailed.
We give it.
Yeah.
Bob Twitter says yes.
Yeah, you said names and shit a lot. That was good.
Good.
Congratulations, Cody.
I would've said it.
Okay. You guys are giving really detailed Hallow Downs so far. You are answering some of the trivia questions within your.
Oh, don't worry. I'm up next.
Yeah. All right. So here is your question, Cody. What is the name of Barry Convex's company?
Spectral. Oh shit. It's Spectral something. Fuck, I don't remember the rest of it.
That's not it.
Spectral Industries.
Are you trying to steal that question?
Yes, I am.
Oh shit! I forgot about the steal.
Okay, that's great because you're both wrong.
Spectral Enterprises.
You're getting further away.
Oh no, I don't think it's Spectral. I thought it
I
was.
don't think it is either.
Beautiful optometry.
Optical Industries.
Optical.
No, it's beautiful up to. No, I'm just kidding. It's not beautiful.
All right.
None of those are correct. Should I save this question or should I tell you the answer?
No, the movie's done, so you can.
Okay.
Are we doing that
Very
again? Where it's gone?
Yes.
Where the movie's gone? Okay.
Yeah, it's coming off the.
You want a second question?
Sure.
No.
Do I still get to go first?
Oh, we could do that. Where Cody gets the second question. And
Yeah,
then...
Jessica, can you tell us the answer to the first question?
What did you get a second question?
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. As the current points leader and reigning champion, what's going on here? Is there a penalty for not knowing the answer?
I don't like the anti-climax to just, it's gone now.
Well, then answer it right. What do you want?
All right. Then we won't do a second question. The answer is Spectacular Optical Corporation.
Oh, so it was all of our answers.
All right. And apparently the Hallow King says no second question. So
Oh.
sorry, Cody.
So when the Hallow King last time suggested, okay. All right.
It's a good point.
Ruthless and selfish ruler, and
uh-huh.
as such, I get to set the rules, and I say no. Videodrome's gone.
All right.
Okay.
This will be remembered in the next administration.
Yeah, we'll hammer out the rules next time, guys.
Yeah. we're not very good at that. That's because we did a severe lack of production meetings for this one.
No
Yeah.
guarantees.
I think that this is one of the ultimate body horror movies, because I think that it taps into body horror in a very unique way, and that is that it taps into the body horror of the mind and how your mind will then perceive what is happening to your body.
I will agree with that, because when I was watching it, I was like, "Is this body horror?" No, but then I was like, "No, there's a tumor, and it's making you like that's a part of your body, and it's okay, I'll give you that."
Right. I think this is with aside from some pacing issues, I think this movie is a masterpiece. I think it is just close to perfect, with the exception of those pacing issues. I think that it is one of the headiest movies I've ever seen, and I think it's an experience. I think what is one of the reasons that it's so fascinating is from about the 15-minute mark onward, James Woods is no longer a reliable narrator. You have no fucking idea if what you're watching is actually happening. It can be completely a hallucination. For instance, everything that happens with Blondie, the singer from Blondie, Debbie Harry, every scene with her outside of the talk show might not be real. Even when they're having sex in his apartment, that might not actually be happening. You have to assume that it might not be happening. And I think at that point, it makes this movie, it's more than just a movie to me, and it's an experience. And I think on a thematic level, this movie just goes fucking nuts. I literally wrote a 3-page essay on this movie last night. I'm not going to read the whole
members,
thing.
grab your drinks as we listen to Cody's essays.
No, that would be ridiculous. But I do want to read a quote from David Cronenberg, because I think it's really telling for this. And he says, "Since I see technology as being an extension of the human body, it's inevitable that it should come home to roost." And I think that quote encapsulates what this movie is, because it's a movie that it exists as a skeptic's critique of mass media and what mass media presents.
He had, what's funny is he had like no idea how far that was going to go too.
Right.
When he made that.
Right.
It's only become more correct. Like, I watched it today. I'd never seen it before, and I was shocked at how like correct he was in his
So correct.
TV. And it's like, oh, dude, you don't even know. We carry this shit around with us now.
Yeah.
Right. It's
That-
literally attached to us on our fucking.
Elon, Elon Musk said we're basically kind of like cyborg 1.0s now because of how often our phones are in our hands. It's just not a surgically attached computer, but it's just like you're a couple stitches away from just being a cyborg as of now.
And there's a great YouTube channel called Renegade Cut, and they did a summary of this movie and an analysis of it. And a quote from them that I thought was really poignant to that, which was, "Humanity exists somewhere between the mind and technological influence, and what the film calls the new flesh." Which I think this is a movie that I think really deserves its own 2 hours of just banter. So I'm going to try to curb my own boner and not talk too much about this one, because I could go on and on and on. But I think this is one of those movies where even summarizing it is difficult, because you really can't know for sure if what you watched and the way that you as the viewer digested it is actually what happened. And I think that is so fascinating to me. And from a film watching perspective, I think this is, or from an audience perspective, I think there's really nothing like this in my mind.
I ranked this 5th on my list. With the caveat of I really like 7 out of 8 of these movies, so I really like this movie. This movie got a bump for me after I watched Scanners, which I know isn't part of this list, but could have been in a different world. Another David Cronenberg movie that's kind of Videodrome 1.0 in a way, where I see where he came from to make this film, and it does succeed pretty well across most fronts. Yeah, Cody, I think you mentioned like the pacing issues were a lot more prevalent for me. It felt longer than it was, and the unreliable narrator nature of it is super fucking interesting. I just didn't connect fully to why things were happening from scene to scene and what I should be expecting as it's going from like, oh, he's got you know, a chest handgun attached to himself. Now he's got a real gun. He's got I just there was something in the connection of those worlds that didn't sit with me perfectly, which made it rank a little bit lower. Just the connective tissue, but
So by Cronenberg's own admission, he ran into a lot of issues trying to make this movie because Rick Baker did the special effects and he's incredible, but there were things that Rick Baker was just not able to pull off with his $500,000 budget that he had to play with. $500,000 special effects budget.
in 1983 or whatever.
1983. He could not, because Cronenberg, I imagine, is crazy to work with. He couldn't do it exactly the way that Cronenberg wanted it done. So scenes would change on the fly to accommodate for that.
I thought we were talking about Videodrome.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Curtis, I'd say that I think this is one of those movies that this is the second time I've seen this, and the first time I saw it, I came away with pretty much exactly everything you just said. And watching it again, and remembering what happened, and now being able to watch it and kind of know what's going on, it really changes everything. I highly suggest subsequent viewings of this because it's one of those movies that I don't think you can come away with from the first time and know what the fuck you watched. I think that you'll come away with it and you'll know how you got there in your head. Like you'll know how you arrived at whatever conclusions you've gotten to as far as without actually being able to fully digest the movie, which I think is fascinating considering that, again, unreliable narrator. You might be fucking hallucinating the whole goddamn movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ended up having it at 4th on my list. Which
I have it on 4th.
Oh,
Cody, where'd you have it? You didn't say.
Number one.
Number one.
Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of with Curtis in that. Yeah, there's some pacing, and it got a little out there at times for me to fully feel invested and know kind of what's going on and feel. I think you're right, Cody. I think this is a movie that would benefit from multiple viewings just because you're going to once you kind of know what you're in for, I think it's going to be a little easier to sort of piece together. But on a first run, it really gets heady and weird and kind of confusing very quickly. Having said that, it's a movie I respect a ton. And I'm, like I kind of mentioned, I'm just blown away by how on the nose Cronenberg was about media and technology and how they integrate with humanity and our minds. And we're at the point now, look, we're on Zoom doing a show on YouTube. It's so ingrained in everything about humanity that I'm just fascinated at how on the nose it was. I think some of the imagery is phenomenal and iconic in a way. His weird chest vagina video player thing and the TV bulging out, and there's just some amazing shit in here, and it definitely deserves its spot in horror history. It just on a first viewing it kind of got away from me a little early and a little quick, and I also had to deduct some points because of James Woods being the star. But yeah, it's a pretty special thing.
What's wrong with James Woods? Because I know you said he was an asshole earlier, but I know nothing about him other than he played Hades.
I'm so glad we're talking about James Woods now.
Please.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Because I'm watching it and I'm like, is this guy was this guy like a Hollywood hunk? Was he considered I forgot about James Woods, and I didn't know that James Woods didn't have eyebrows when he was that young. I know he doesn't have eyebrows now, but he doesn't have that's part of the body horror of this movie is the lack of eyebrows on James Woods. This guy is so unnerving to look at.
Yeah, that's kind of his shtick. Yeah.
Oh,
huh. All right.
Producer notes. Yeah, I loved what I could piece together from Videodrome because I had the unfortunate event happen of having a text message come through when I was watching the movie, so I looked down for a second and lost everything where I was in this movie. Which is, I think is very easy to do, and I can imagine I've heard very polarizing things about this movie, and I think it has to do with what Cody's saying with the unreliable narrator and not knowing. Like, I know a lot of people don't like that, like that makes it that makes it the experience that it is. But when I can't trust anything that I'm watching, that's not to some people that's not a fun movie going experience if I can't trust what I'm looking at.
No, let alone a movie that, like, I just said one of the reasons that I think a lot of people, this movie is polarizing. You gotta fucking watch the thing more than once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, but
And it's not a good time. So you mean I have to have a bad time twice?
Yeah, it doesn't work out for everybody.
Maybe more?
I did get hyped up when I saw Rick Baker's name come across the screen because that shit was so cool. There's a vulgar term for how I was referring to his like little stomach opening. I'll refer to it as. I had a different name for it in my head as I was watching it.
Same.
But yeah, his stomach opening was just so cool looking. What else?
They're like weird videotapes that like throb.
Oh yeah, the videotapes.
The fucking TV.
The TVs. And how cool the effect was of the TV screens themselves, like moving out as a practical effect. I was like, this looks really good for I kind of know what they're doing, but it actually ended up looking really good when he first presses his face.
You get I was for a while I was like, how they do that? It looks so good.
So but yeah, there's not much else to say about it then.
Where did you put
you guys
it?
Pretty much covered. I put it at number 4, same place as you.
So 1, 4, 4, and 5. So
I'm not gonna lie.
By a little bit.
We should move on because I'm getting antsy and I'm going to start yelling parts of my essay if we don't move on.
All right, we're gonna move on.
All right, moving on.
Find the rest of Cody's essay on Parler. Just follow that and many other essays that he's written.
All right,
here.
That's Lucas's turn. So Huckleberry, bring up that wheel. Spin it for Lucas.
By the way, dear viewers and listeners, whatever you're doing, we want to take a moment to thank Huckleberry. You can't see him or hear him, but he's our producer. He's behind the scenes. He's doing everything for us.
The unseen hero here.
He's magnificent.
He is the master and/or gimp.
Oh, that's a hot sauce.
That hot sauce.
That's a hot sauce for Lucas.
I have a feeling that I'm going to do nothing but punishments all night, which is okay. And again, that's less embarrassing than me having to hollow down anything.
I feel the same way. I feel like my life to this point, my karmic points are spent on other shit. I'm just going to get punishments.
And I'm using the same glass to do my shots that I'm doing the hot sauce in.
Oh.
So it's going to be vodka hot sauce in the same glass. So it's going to get, tummy's going to feel nice and good in the morning.
Lucas, which hot sauce are you using?
It's this, it's stuff from Yellowbird. It's really hot. Just trust me, it's really hot.
I don't like that. You should probably tell us more.
It's fine. It's okay. It's hot sauce. I'm playing the game. I wouldn't do this to you. Okay, it's in there. There's a fiery yellow crap in there.
It doesn't look good.
Yeah. It smells like it's probably like a little, like half as hot as the
it's still
horse crap that we drank the last time.
All right, well, shoot it down. Do what they want.
Oh, that's tough. Having to drink it like that.
Ugh, gross.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Poor man.
Oh, we bring body horror to you.
You didn't have to do it like that, bro.
Okay.
He's doing it for the clout.
You're going fucking Dragon Ball on us, bro.
Oh.
Veins are popping out of your neck and shit. That was wonderful. No, don't get a hemorrhoid. That's some serious body horror.
We talked about body horror before. You guys want to talk about my foot peels?
Yeah.
This can see what? Sorry, we're getting talked to by the voice of God. What happened? What chat?
Oh, got it. At the bottom of the screen. Cool.
Got it.
I'm giving directions for the board. Now,
Okay.
okay, let's see. So we have 2 movies off the board. Do we take any punishments off? Or
really
are we still
wanted-
rolling with?
Tetsuo so bad.
I want. Do
What do you
want
guys think? Take
some
one punishment off. So we have 2 movies off.
The crowd's gonna want the punishments there.
The crowd wants the punishments. It's true. It's a good point.
I mean, hello. This is a lot. Hello, King. It's your turn. It's
I
your.
in the wheel for me.
Man, we've only done 2 movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what. Take some of those
65
punishments off.
minutes.
The wheel shall spin. Where will land? No one knows. The fly!
Fly.
Fly! No punishment for me, for I'm the king. All right, the fly. Who shall time me while I hollow down the fry?
I got you,
Oh,
baby. I
got it.
got you. I got you. Okay.
All right.
You ready?
I think so.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Jeff Goldblum is a scientist, and he meets Gina Davis at a party, and he's like, "Hey, yo, you want to see what I'm working on?" She's like, "Yeah, okay." And he's like, "Yo, I made this teleporter," and she's like, "That's amazing. I don't write about it." He's like, "No, you can't write about it. It's not ready yet." And she gets kind of pissy, and he's like, "Okay, here's the deal. If you follow me, I'll let you follow me around, and when it's done, then you can write a book. How about that?" She's like, "Okay." So they follow him around, and she's watching him build this thing, and it's amazing. And they transport a baboon, so they're amazed. She's got to go see her old fling, who's crazy. Jeff Goldblum gets all pissy about that, so he uses the teleporter by himself. But a fly gets in there. He
30
teleports.
seconds.
It seems to be successful, but some weird things are happening to his body, and slowly over time he starts disintegrating. What happened? His genes got combined with that of a fly, so he's becoming a horrible fly monster, and he's getting grosser and grosser by the minute. And Gina Davis has to leave because he's so gross. Anyway, she's pregnant with this fly monster baby, and she's worried it's going to be a horrible monster, so she goes to get an abortion, but he says, "No, you can't do
10
that."
seconds.
And he tries to teleport them all together so they'll be fused as one, but she says no, and he becomes full fly monster, and he's like, "Please kill me," and she does, and then the movie ends just right there.
Woo!
Yep.
You
Yep.
got. Yeah, it'll do. It'll
Yeah.
do.
Detail heavy.
Still heavy. You fucked up who
great.
killed him, but hey, it works.
That's all right.
It works.
Kills
That's
him.
pretty good. All right. The
James
fly
killed
trivia.
No, it doesn't.
No, the guy kills him.
Yeah, the guy kills him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He grabs the
Ru-
thing to his head.
No.
She shoots him in the head. You guys are wrong.
Thank you.
Ronnie, yeah.
He,
Oh,
he,
Curtis.
with his fly claw, he grabs the gun because Gina Davis is holding
Oh,
it
sure.
because she's
Yeah,
so
she shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
Curtis, come join me in the "We'll go fuck ourselves" corner.
Austin is right.
Thank you, Jessica. We understand.
How dare you ever question your king? He said to the
Okay.
stars with such insubordination.
I have 2 questions I really want to ask. One is just kind of fun. All right, we're gonna ask a hard question.
Oh no.
What does Seth call the enzyme that he spits out that causes people to disintegrate? There is a specific name for it. He says it multiple times.
Fuck, I don't remember.
Brundlefly.
No, what?
No,
What he calls
Wait, that's not...
that's what he calls himself.
Oh no. Oh no.
what he spits up. I don't know.
don't remem-
Digestive juices, amino, digestive. I don't know.
Anybody else?
It's something enzyme, but I can't. No, it's not. Never mind. I'm just gonna go fuck myself.
Curtis?
Let him take a shot, or he'll get real pissed.
An acidic decoagulative enzyme.
Wow.
You guys, I said enzyme. I'm not going to say that word answer in the question. What
Oh,
am I,
yeah.
a dick? No. All right, the answer is vomit drop.
Oh, vomit drop. Oh man.
He calls it that multiple times throughout.
Whew.
I
Man.
do have a fun. I want to add like a little trivia. This is not a question, but there are 3 movies that Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum has starred in. Obviously, this one. They've also starred in Earth Girls Are Easy. Does anybody know the 3rd one they've starred in together?
I've never even heard of Earth Girls Are Easy.
What?
Their life because they were
That's
married.
great.
Failure to
Girls are-
lunch.
And there was a movie called Transylvania
5,000. Fuck.
Yes.
I have
love
never
that
heard of-
movie.
I have never heard of either of those movies, nor did I know that they were married.
Ugh.
Yeah, they were married.
I did not know any of those things.
I think
so,
like right out of that movie, like I think they probably met on that movie, looking at the years.
Oh,
We're married for a few years.
yeah, I did not know they
Okay,
were
well,
married either.
I would like to iterate that the only person who has points right now is Austin with 1,000, and that's it. So everybody, get on it.
or write better questions.
Monstrator, I would never say such horrible things. Remember that the next time.
Jessica, I'm just kidding. Your questions are
I'm writing that
magnificent.
in my diary.
It's an extensive diary.
The Fly. I
right.
had this at my number 1 spot.
It's my
As
number
did
two.
I.
Yeah.
This is my number 1.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Oh, well, we know what your number 1 is. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's just in terms of body horror, I think this is the most body horror of the whole bunch. In that he, has a horrible accident that transforms his body into a terrible, degrading fly monster, and it's happening to him. He can't do anything about it. And he's, conscious of all of it and has to just sort of watch. And as a scientist too, has to sort of just watch himself degrade. I had seen this before, but it's been a really long time. On this viewing, I was really struck by and sort of impressed by the tragedy of it. It's such a tragic story. It has sort of that like Hunchback of Notre Dame type of like tragedy. Like there's just this horrible thing and you feel so bad for it and you want it to get better, but it won't. The effects are great. The pacing is perfect. I mean, it starts and within 5 minutes we're seeing the teleport pods, like just out the gate. It's just they don't waste any time getting in, and then when it ends, it ends. It is just, I think, front to back, a true horror masterpiece, and I think it deserves the title of king of all body horror.
I'd agree. I'd say this encapsulates what I think body horror is. Everything about this. It is the masterpiece of body horror.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I mean, this is the second Cronenberg we talked about on this of 3, and it's almost a people talking in rooms movie most of the time. Like, you think of the effectiveness he gets out of like 3 sets. It's Brundle's apartment, the opening gala, and like the one office, right? and then just on, you don't even know it. It's that like enclosed of a film. And yeah, Austin, your point on the tragedy of it is, I think, what makes it everlasting. It's so fucking sad. You like both of these people very, very much.
Yeah,
I think is
together and happy.
Yeah.
They're a great couple. Like at the beginning, they're a fantastic couple. I just want good. And he's invented the most incredible technology that would ever exist. Like it's like there was so much there for them. They had such hopes and such future.
Yeah. And he's like Goldblum's able to pull off that creepy nerd thing better than I think anyone could. Because like he's like, you want to come back to my place and see my thing? You're like, I don't buy that. He doesn't seem rapey, No.
I thought on Goldblum, when I was watching this, I was like, this is the perfect casting. I cannot picture anyone else doing this, because the way he does his weird little like fluttery, and Goldblum does that sort of strange thing when he talks. And for this character, it was just perfect, because it's that weird like kind of scientist, over analytical, even when he's talking about like, yes, my ear. Do you want to see the Museum of Brundle? Like just the way it's all like perfect. It's perfect. So great.
Yeah. And then he takes his shirt off and he's just fucking hot.
So
like, what? Come get out of here.
He's fucking ripped in this
Get
movie.
out of here, Jeff Goldblum.
Ripped.
And talk about a man that talking about like the opposite of body horror. This man has aged well.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes, he has.
He's a gorgeous man. I
That is
will
a
say,
gorgeous man.
I think the most horrifying thing in the movie is actually the fact that Jeff Goldblum had to hug a baboon. Baboons terrify me.
So interesting thing that I learned. Oh, sorry. So interesting thing that I learned about that baboon. The trainer was not working. It just wasn't working. So the baboon that they're using is completely untrained. And it's a miracle that it didn't rip off Jeff Goldblum.
Jesus, just jumping on his body.
That's what I learned. Yeah.
Have you seen a baboon's fucking teeth? No way I get near one of those. Never. No, they have like 6-inch incisors. No fucking way. That's out of control. Disgusting.
Thank you.
Want to know some interesting baboon plus Jeff Goldblum information?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the reason that the baboon only worked with Jeff Goldblum is because he was so tall. that like they were like, we were lucky he was tall because it stopped the baboon from having any other disruptive behavior towards like the female cast members or anything, because Jeff Goldblum was huge. But the
Oh, that's interesting.
only responded to Jeff Goldblum.
He like intimidated the baboon.
Yeah, I think the baboon was like, this is like the top dog, and I have to, the top baboon, if you will. And I have to like listen to him.
How much more self-esteem does one guy need?
Right? I command the great.
And also the pressure to be like, I'm the last line of defense on this set.
Right?
Right.
Like if that baboon acts up, he's got to go slap it. Goldblum's got to be the one to slap the baboon. I could never do that. I could never slap the baboon.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So the one thing I wanted to talk about before we move on to the next movie is that as we saw in Videodrome and what we will see in Crash is that Cronenberg has this obsession with machines and technology and the dangers that they pose to humanity and the humans that use them. So a couple of things that I noticed in this movie that I thought were so interesting with that, especially given the tragedy of this movie, is that the movie opens with Seth and Ronnie driving to his apartment, right? And Ronnie is driving fine and he's acting all weird. She says, "What's wrong?" And he says, "I don't like vehicles. They make me sick." You know,
Right.
which is it's so interesting because it's such a fucking basic. I mean, at this point, that's a basic thing, right?
Yeah.
Using a car is one of the most basic pieces of technology that you start using by the time you're 16 years old.
Right.
So he hates that, yet he's going in and making fucking telepods that will teleport people. And then in the end, he literally becomes he literally gets fused with the telepod. And that scene at the end where it's like Brundlefly telepod thing crawling out, he's got all those wires coming out of him. It's this interesting fascination that Cronenberg seems to have with not only body horror, but how technology will affect our bodies. Mm-hmm. And he uses that in the most literal way as far as the way that he visually depicts it. And I think it's so fascinating.
Oh, yeah. We wouldn't have The Matrix as it is without Cronenberg's work. I was thinking about that because, like I said, I watched Scanners and I watched Dead Ringers, like a few other his body horror things, like the way that the technology fuses with the human form. I know like Giger's obviously a big Matrix influence, but like, yeah, we don't have that weird science fiction-y fusion of tech shit without this work.
Well, he just does it in this way that's so visceral across the board, and I think it's so fascinating, specifically with the way that he depicts it on screen. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Did he have anything to do with the actual design of the telepods, or is that
I don't know. You know, it's funny
because those things looked really cool.
I have this on Blu-ray, and I had intended to watch all the special features to just talk about some of that shit because I thought it would be interesting for a movie like this. It looks so fucking cool. And with such interesting camera angles. Like, this is a movie where I was watching it being like, how do they do that for most of the movie, right? And I didn't have time. I read something about the telepods, and I know that the design was, I guess, quick or something like that to get together. But, yeah, I'm just kind of spouting.
Oh, yeah. Well, on the effects, like when he's crawling up on the room and the roof, and like, it's great.
That was the one where, and it's funny because I almost didn't bring that up to you guys. You guys know how movies are made a lot better than I do. You know way more about that than I do. So but I was sitting there the whole movie just fucking fascinated by that, being like, how the fuck did they make that?
I know, just because I learned a long time ago. I'm sure Curtis knows, but
I do not. No.
They built a giant rotating set, and they like just glued everything down. So as he's walking around, they're just rotating it. So he's always like on the ground. So like the ceiling is here, and then when he goes to the wall, they just rotate it. So he's always so the room's rotating around him. It's great.
It's wild.
And so I didn't even go there. I went, okay, so what did they do? They had paint the room like this, and they had him walking around, and then they cut, and then they turned everything and glued it down again, and then they had him stay in the same position, walked around. Of course, this is why I don't make movies.
I mean, that's the cheap way to do it. I mean, the cheap and dirty way to do it. You know,
cheap and dirty way to do it that takes a fucking week.
Well,
sure.
You see him like it's a long static of him walking from the wall to the ceiling, and
Yeah.
so they had to build this big rotating thing. It's amazing.
That was the thing that got me. Is like, I was looking at it and I was like, there's no seam in that shot. I was like, you can't cut away from that. There's nothing there to cut from. So it was, yeah, I did not know that. That's wild. It's fucking Christopher Nolan. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you did Inception after this shit.
But he had fucking CG for that.
Well, they did the whole like room spinning thing, and they were on wires too. So like,
Oh,
this is better. The Fly is better than Inception.
Fly's much better than Inception.
I would
Fly is
agree.
also a comprehensible movie.
Is this a movie that most of us, I know me especially, saw way too young?
So weirdly, I saw this movie for the first time about 6 years ago.
Oh, weird.
Really?
Yeah, I had just moved in with Maddie, and I forget even how we started talking about it, but when I told her I'd never seen it, she was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I don't even remember how we got a hold of it, but it was, yeah. I mean, immediately I was in love with this movie. It's so good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
saw
saw it a little too young, definitely.
Yeah, because I saw the original Fly first, and for whatever reason, my mom let me rent this one from Hollywood Video. So
Nice.
11 or 12.
The original, so it's like G.
It's
rated
fun.
compared to this. It's great. I
Oh,
own
yeah.
it. I love it. So is Return of the Fly.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very different. Yes.
Wildly different.
And there's the fly.
There's the Fly.
There's the Fly.
So we had 2 1s and 2 2s on this, right?
Yeah, that's probably that might be the aggregate best. That was the
Yeah.
one where I was like, I know we're not all going to have the top 3 the same. I was
Yeah.
like, we might all have the top 1.
Yeah.
And
Same.
we were close.
I was kind of
Close.
expecting Fly to be number one, and then fucking Lucas. All right, grand spinner wheel, putting
Are
us.
we're taking the Fly off. Are we taking now a punishment off, or are we leaving it?
We can-
Keeping it on.
Keeping it on. Sorry.
Okay.
If it starts
Great.
to drag, we'll take
Okay.
them.
All right. If we're here for 3.5 hours, Huck, we're down. I'm here for it.
What will it be? Nobody knows. Not us, Tolly says in our ears. Slither!
Yay!
All right. Get a movie.
All right, I'll run the clock. Slither, 1 minute clock in 3, 2, 1, go.
An alien parasite crashes to Earth and infects Grant, played by Michael Rooker, who's married to Elizabeth Banks, much younger woman that he doesn't deserve. And they have a really terrible sexual relationship, and he cheats on her and takes a bartender away from her job and infects her with the parasite. And then Nathan Fillion, who's playing the cop of the town, really has the hots for Elizabeth Banks. You know, that shit's going wrong. People are dying. They find the bartender in a barn, and she's all swollen. She's got all the parasites in her. Blow her up, and the parasites affect all the others in the town. A lot of other people in the town, minus a few. And then Rooker gets all society blob-like in the house, and the one girl who Nathan Fillion finds has a vision because she spit a slither out of her mouth. How these creatures take over worlds, and then Rooker puts a tentacle into his body, but not enough, and he sticks the other one into the propane tank, shoots propane tank, dies. 3 of them live. They walk off, and a cat gets the slither.
Yeah, I mean, you got
That was
there.
tough.
You
I
got
mean,
there.
You did a really shitty job, but I think you got everything, so I can't fight it. Like it came out bad, but
It
everything
didn't.
like,
It came out real poor, and I felt it, but it
Yeah.
was there.
I was like, he's gonna fail, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think you got everything.
Yeah.
Curtis did his Hallow down from the perspective of Slither being like a movie about relationships, which I think was interesting, but kind of crappy.
That's how I approach these things.
It's on her.
That being said, are you ready for a trivia question?
As well as I'll ever be.
All right. Ooh, I got 2 really good ones. Okay. What is the song that Starla and Grant share a love for? I'm seeing a lot of this, and you guys, this happens
I know.
2 times.
Oh,
I will take band name or song name.
Curtis, blow it, because I can do it.
Why do I want that to happen? Hold on.
Do you have a time limit?
REO Speedwagon.
Air supply, air supply, air supply, it's air supply. Loveliest girl in the world.
No idea.
What is it? This is all because
You're really close. You already got it. It's Every Woman in the World by Air Supply.
Air Supply. That's I was like, what was he saying? Air Supply, Air Supply, Air Supply.
it's because my
So
fiance's a lover of soft rock, so she was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I love this song," and so I don't know.
just to make sure I got it. So now Austin gets another 1,000 points that you didn't get, right?
That's
Yes, that is very correct.
I just want to reiterate it one more time. The points that you didn't get,
Yeah,
that you lost at. Okay, cool.
Curtis biffed it,
What?
and it's going back to me because of
I
his-
could only.
I'm just gonna eat hot
I would have
sauce.
only been able to sing it. I didn't know the name of the song, and we can't sing it
The
because the whole episode will get ripped down if we sing it.
Just-
So-
If you message it to me privately, I will allow that.
the music is the James Gunn music shit. Well, it's great. I'm like, I'm not gonna know until I see the fucking soundtrack list what that shit is. That's just not my forte.
Yeah, mine either, but it is my fiance's. Holy shit!
Did she? Oh, she knew that one.
Of course, she loves that song.
Okay, yeah, that
Loves
makes sense.
Yeah, Slither.
Slither. Okay, this fucking movie, directed by James Gunn. Post trauma days, just leaning into his fucking weird shit, and it's like I love. Clearly, James Gunn's omnipresent in mainstream pop culture now because of the Guardians films and whatnot. And if you don't know where he comes from, it's just such a good whiplash of like, oh yeah, this guy comes from some real shit, some cool fucking stuff. And the way he's able to meld that comedy and splat stick sort of thing, that dark humor with gross stuff is phenomenal. I was higher on this movie previous to this watch than I was this time. I think I ranked this film third. It was my number 3.
Same.
I had number 2. This is my number 2.
Yeah.
And it's number 4 for me.
Okay. Yeah. There's some weird pacing thing that I can't put a finger on through the middle of.
On that, I kind of agree. There's something that keeps it from being like a full-on home run, but I love the shit out of it. It's so up my alley. Just the comedy and the horror and like the big fat waitress lady full of the slugs is just one of my favorite things.
So good.
I'm so fucking hungry. Like,
Could you give me that possum over there?
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic.
they're ripping me apart. It's great. It's so absurd and over the top, and even a lot of the early stuff with Michael Rooker when he's all gnarly and what happened, babe? It's a bee sting. It's fine.
Can we talk about his name being Grant?
Yes,
Grant.
It's fucking amazing.
fantastic. Grant,
The-
Grant.
The fucking best.
This movie for me also has a pacing thing, but I think it's because it's not that the movie isn't paced well for me. It's that so much of it is taking it's wearing its influences on its sleeve for me in such a very apparent way that it's difficult for me to see past it at times. There's so much of it that's obviously just a giant ode to so much of 80s horror cinema, but in particular Night of the Creeps. I mean, the plot is basically Night of the Creeps, which is fine. Night of the Creeps is the plot of so many things.
Tom Atkins.
And then also the way that Grant's like first transformation is From Beyond.
Oh,
He
fuck, I
literally
haven't
just
seen that.
looks like From Beyond.
Mhm.
So I think some of it for me, like pacing wise, is that it's not that, and this really isn't knocking it. It's a great homage to all the things that James Gunn loves, and so many good choice things to be taking fucking cues from. But I think because some of it's so familiar to me, it's just it doesn't engage me quite as well. I also found that when I was taking the notes on this to try to remember everything that happened in this movie, this one was the one where it was like taking away all of the relationship shit. This is the you can summarize this movie in like 30 seconds.
Well, Curtis did it in a minute, so yeah.
He did it in a minute with all the relationship shit. I mean, he did a detailed version, but like
Yeah,
the light version, it's so simple, and I think that has so
sure.
much going for it.
I totally agree. Like the meat is not in the plot. The meat is in the comedy and the like effects and horror. And, like,
Right.
which
it's
is
in
great.
that it's in that sweet spot of like you make a movie that has a really wild swing somewhere, you have to make something simple about it. So like if the relationships are weird and if the effects, if it's super gory and super fucking crazy looking, then the narrative has to be pretty fucking straightforward so we don't get hung up on one thing as opposed to
I think the problem with it was they were trying to force the Nathan Fillion Elizabeth Banks relationship a little too hard, or they kept trying to reinforce that over and over again, and I think that's where it kind of the movie would get stuck and meddle a little bit. But
it is such a weird
besides
thing.
that, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. You start out this movie like if Grant didn't exist, he could be her dad. Effectively, he is her dad because it's basically like a romance. Like everyone's like, oh, Nathan Fillion's gonna get with Elizabeth Banks. We know this is gonna happen. And like that's how the characters act. They're like, oh, you know, you got the hots for her. Like she's got a husband.
Yeah.
Like, it's effectively her father.
Mhm.
That's weird.
Yeah, fair point. Very weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
is he poking fun at the country bumpkin lifestyle?
Oh, for
in that way,
sure.
you think? Yeah.
I think in a loving way. It's not ridiculing people, but it's like it's there.
Because James Gunn, as we know, who he got in trouble for having a sick sense of humor in the past. So
yeah,
I don't put it past him to try to want to be like, well, I want to do this weird country thing.
Yeah.
And make fun of him.
I love James Gunn. Everything he does, I'm all in. Just so up my alley.
So, quick talking point. Curtis, do you think this is a body horror movie or a movie that just has body horror elements?
I think it's the latter. And if it wasn't for the society tribute at the end, I'd have been like, oh damn, like this definitely isn't a body horror movie. But because it relies so heavily on practical effects done to the human body, I'm with it. It's not thematically there so much. I mean, it's a little bit about identity, but it's about the practical effects more than anything.
It's more alien, but for me, it falls into body horror because the little slugs they take over your body, and thus you lose control of your body, and they make you grow like venom sacs where you get venom. So, yeah, I mean, even before you get to like Michael Rooker or the waitress or the him growing and becoming the blob, I think there's enough there that I think it barely makes the cut, but for me, it does make the cut.
Okay.
And for me, I'm more in line with Curtis on that. I think it is a movie that is heavily driven by the concept of using body horror, but I don't put it for some reason, for a reason that I honestly cannot fully articulate. I don't put this in the subgenre that is specifically body horror movies.
Yeah, it is doing that alien invasion thing. It's doing the blob thing.
And I think that might be what it is for me.
Yeah. Is the alien invasion part of it.
Yeah, that is the meat of what's happening is alien invasion, but it does it via body horror, and I'll give it, and I just love it. So yeah, it's fine.
And you're the Hallow King, so what you say goes.
And I'm the Hallow King and the current point leader, the only one with points. I shall be respected. All right, next film.
I hope Pepper pees on that crown. Moving on.
Cody's turn. Yes,
it is my turn. The Wheel of Death.
Half of the things are off the board.
Yep. Huck, spin our wheel.
Yeah, we're spinning. We can't play roulette when we get down to like 2 or 1 of these things. This is insane.
We can and we will.
All right. Oh,
Tusk!
Tusk.
Damn it.
Okay.
The only ones I could do are being taken.
All right.
You still got 1 coming for you.
I do.
Cody has Tusk.
I'm just gonna drink my vodka just because.
Yeah.
This is the only time
for
I'm
enjoyment. Yeah. How's the audience out there? Yep.
Yeah.
Flying fangs, just telling us to drink.
It's gross. I did ass to mouth willingly.
I have a feeling I'm gonna fuck this up.
Yeah, chat's been quiet. Chat, chime in, or we'll revolt. You have 1 minute, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Wallace and Teddy, they run a podcast together. I'm not going to say what the podcast is called. Wallace flies to Canada to interview this dumbass that cuts his leg off with a sword. They find the kid already killed himself. Ooh, that's very, very, very sad. So he's peeing, and he finds a flyer in the bathroom that tells him, advertises a room for free and good stories. So he goes to the house where there's this retired seaman named Howard, and Howard tells him a story about how he once knew a walrus named Mr. Tusk when he was lost at sea, and he misses it very much. So then Howard drugs Wallace, who then wakes to find himself strapped to a wheelchair and a leg amputated. But Howard tells him that he's gonna turn him into a Wallace, and they're gonna make him Mr. Tusk. So then but before he can totally mutilate him, he gets a text out to his girlfriend and Teddy. And then and then
no.
Howard tells him that Howard puts him in the walrus suit, and he tries to make him a demon. Right.
Yeah. We unfortunately cannot. Now we go to Huck, the punishment wheel.
Wheel of punishment.
I love how Curtis was so nice about that. He's like, unfortunately, we can't let that go. Fucking obviously, we can't let that go. I missed the last 20 goddamn minutes of the fucking movie. Didn't even
probably
get
only
to
got
Johnny
to half.
Depp.
You only got to half.
You really
yeah,
only got half
Johnny
of
Depp.
it. Yeah, you forgot Johnny Depp. Oh,
Yay!
Oh, is that
the walrus for the tusk? That's the bubble mask.
Yay! Cody, go! Cody, go!
Oh, I'm so excited to see
This is
it.
great. I have no idea how this is gonna work.
Oh, there's a little applicator
Oh.
when you open it. All right.
All right. While Cody starts this, question
Here.
for the crowd:
Yes.
Does Cody get the trivia still?
Yeah, I think they're
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah.
They're separate. Cody still
Yeah.
gets trivia.
So you can monster it if you want to give him trivia while he starts applying.
Opens the box and started.
Right.
Hurry,
Oh, rude.
please.
I'm just getting excited about the idea of the bubble mask.
Thank you.
Wait.
So is my wife upstairs. She asked me to save some, so she
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. What is the nickname for the serial killer? The serial killer who will turn out to be the old man. What is the nickname that Johnny Depp gives him?
the first mother. Or the first wife. The first wife.
No,
the first wife.
First wife.
First
No,
wife. I
no.
said it.
No, you can't do that.
Cody said it. Cody said it.
Cody gets
Saved
it.
It is the first wife.
Reeling it back in. Congratulations.
All right.
Cody
So
has
at
1,000
this
points.
point, Austin has 2,000 points. Cody has 1,000 points.
And
that's
And
So
I have my
that's it.
vodka.
But because I'm not going to
With
be able to hear you
hot
guys
That's
for
my
a little bit
eyeliner.
while I
Billy,
put this on,
Leave the headphones on.
I got to put this shit on my face.
Not on your ears.
Okay,
Put it
I'll
on the-
try.
Put it on the face part. Because
All right.
we gotta talk while you do this. It's gonna take too long.
Okay, go on. I by the way, this is DFL for me on the list.
What is that?
Dead fucking last.
What?
So
Cody,
I saw this movie
why are
in
you
theaters.
the worst?
I was so excited to go see it. It was me, Maddie, and a buddy of mine and his girlfriend. And when I left the movie, I was elated. I was overjoyed. I fucking laughed my ass off the whole movie. I loved it.
What happened to that guy?
Second time watching it,
What happened to that guy?
I don't know, but second
he
time
watched
watching it,
370 horror movies in a year.
probably a lot to do with it. And I don't want to. I will admit that, like, after thinking about it more, I don't want to totally knock the movie because I think it does a good job with what it. Oh shit!
Oh, he didn't use the applicator. Oh, you're just going straight for it.
I don't
Use
how
the
does-
small plastic applicator.
It's okay. Keep talking.
Um,
Very
it,
good.
it,
Oh, you look like Rambo. You look like Schwarzenegger at the end of Predator.
I don't think I'm doing this right.
The entirety of Commando.
Use
You're-
the applicator.
Jessica,
It's rubbing out.
help!
Use the applicator.
I'm trying to get it open. Jessica, how do I do this?
I think he's supposed to use the small plastic applicator.
Yeah, you definitely use the thing that they give you.
To do
And
what? Like, what am I supposed to do with
Scoop
it?
it out and put it on your face. Yeah, see how it's
What? It
staying?
just falls everywhere.
Well, smear it in better. Smear it in better.
Don't rub it in too hard. Just, I think this is a mask that you have to just kind of let sit on your skin, and then it's gonna balloon up
Yeah.
into the bubble thing.
Yeah.
Don't do it too thick.
Yeah, don't do too thick.
I'm trying.
Well, we're all learning. I mean, it is all in Chinese, so I don't know what we're actually supposed to do. Yeah. Do one side of your face really thick and one thin, and we'll see which.
Yeah, it's not a lotion. It's like a thin layer,
Yeah,
like
thin.
icing a cake.
Yeah. Ice a cake.
It's in
You know
my
what cake
hair.
yours?
Yeah.
Jessica,
Right.
I put this on my beard. Ow, my eye.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Don't,
no. Oh no.
Your eye,
Oh
on your beard.
no.
yeah, don't get it in your eye.
It's
Definitely.
in
Don't
my
get it-
eye.
Yeah, well, don't get it
It
there.
hurts.
You did it wrong. You did it wrong.
I would stop rubbing it in.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. Leave it. See what happens.
Let it chill.
Fill it in a
Let it
little
hang
bit. Like, yeah, just even it out. Don't put more on. Just even it out. Oh God, you're so okay. Yeah, that's starting to look good.
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh my God, you're so."
You're
ugly."
so ugly. I know.
That's what I thought
Jesus.
you said.
No,
Jesus.
no, I would never. Although you besmirched this movie that I love so dearly. So I had this movie as this is number 3 on my
Oh
list.
fuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
I look, I'm not gonna like. This is one of those movies that like, if you hate it, I'm not gonna try and convince you otherwise. Like, yeah, I get it. You know, it's sort of like Kung Pao is another movie that like I love with reckless abandon. And if someone watches it and they hate it, I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's fine.
Yeah.
For me, I think the first half. Was,
Cody, stop putting stuff on your face.
I'm not supposed to do it anymore?
no, you're supposed to
Are
eat
you putting more on?
moron.
I don't know. When am I
He's just-
when am I supposed to
he's-
stop?
He's
Leave
going
it. Leave
Predator.
it. Leave it the way it is.
Now, leave it the way it is.
Wipe your hands and then done. You're done.
Yeah, you're done.
Wipe my hands on my face?
No,
No,
Instructions unclear. I'm using the whole tub.
I mean, they're not clear. It's in fucking Chinese. I have no idea.
it is in Chinese. We have no idea what it says. So yeah, I think the first half of this movie, for me, I think it works great as a horror movie. I think when Justin Long wakes up as with his leg gone, that's terrifying. I think learning you're in the presence of a madman who wants to do insane things to you is
Insane.
terrifying. And then as it kind of needed to, it pivots once we get into the ridiculousness of the Walrus Man. It pivots into a very fun comedy that I enjoyed deeply. I loved everything Johnny Depp was doing. I don't know, it just scratched this perfect itch of like, this is fucking weird and dark, and I'm kind of in. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those, like, it shouldn't work and I shouldn't like it, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Is it bubbling? Is it starting to bubble?
Oh my God.
Looks like it. I think
You
so.
look like a manatee. The punishment was walrus.
Swamp thing.
Yo, Austin, I was wondering if this kind of plays on a certain fear that I know you have, is like, it's not the same as like you're in a environment in which you have no control, like the mob has control over you. This is a little bit different, but it's like you're in an environment that you weren't expecting to be out of control, and all of a sudden you're drugged and now you're amputated.
Yeah.
Right, like that's
I had the same because while I was watching this, because I bring up Red State a lot as one of those movies that triggers. I think Kevin Smith and I have the exact same fears, because like that movie triggered a deep fear of mine, and this one did too, which is that same, like, you are in a place where you have no control over what's happening to you. You are completely at the behest of someone that you now know is out of their fucking mind, is in love with a walrus and wants to make you that walrus. Like, that's an insane thing to be thinking about. Like, that's a dark, horrible thing. And like, for me, even the whole deeper, Wallace is an asshole and he's kind of lost himself, and so in a way he already had gone full walrus, to quote the movie, and then he has to, in his new form, go full walrus to survive and just become this animalistic husk of what he once was in order to survive, and sort of the tragedy of when people do that. I mean, look, again, if you hate it and you think it's dumb, you're not wrong, but it all fucking worked for me, and there's a lot there that I think is really greatly well done. I fucking love this movie.
After watching it this time, it occurred to me that I felt like I was watching a very bizarre redemption story.
You're starting to bubble.
Thank you. Because he's a fucking piece of shit throughout. Like, he's just a dick. Like, you hate him, right? You want him to be tortured and turned into a fucking walrus. So at the end of the movie, it's almost like, because there was this thing where the whole movie he's talking about how the animal, Howard is talking about how animals are better than humans, something like that. I forget what the line is. So it's almost like turning Walter into a walrus, stripped all the piece of shit elements away from him, to the extent that right before he goes full walrus, he calls his girlfriend and he's saying how sorry he is, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and then at the end, and when I look at it like that, I think there's like a lot of depth here. And admittedly, I watched a review of this movie and somebody said something that I think was very interesting, and I feel like that's why I didn't like it this time around, is that if you watch this movie as a horror movie, not a good movie. If you watch it as a comedy, it's great.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably why I loved it the first time, because the first time I saw it, I was laughing my fucking ass off. When Johnny Depp comes on the screen, the crucified T-Rexy, I started to fucking cry the first time I saw that movie.
It's great. But I disagree, because I think the horror elements work. They worked for me.
It's very Slither-esque.
Howard, that actor who played Howard.
Yeah, Michael Parks.
Fucking killed it. I think he was. I'm also kind of a big sucker for like anything nautical and like, old whaling type stories of adventure, and so the fact that was sort of the basis of this character, I was already kind of in, and then he acted the shit out of it. There's a part of me that's like, I want to hear more Howard House stories. This guy's led quite a storied life.
That's true, but outside of Johnny Depp, he's the only character and the girlfriend. He's the really only character in the movie for me that I could even latch onto. And for me, it's I always find it challenging to watch a movie where I immediately hate everybody in the movie. It's just for me as a viewer, it's difficult for me to keep going unless it's done really well, which I feel like it's few and far between.
I think it falls a lot on Justin Long's shoulders, because it does, out the gate, you're like, oh, these are the assholes who we are fighting against in the world, right? Like we do a podcast in this show, and we try not be anything like those people in their terribly named Nazi party, fucking podcasts. Like, they're very unlikable. But then it's like, are they so unlikable that you want this terrible mutilation to happen to them? And
yes,
I think in a way, yes, but Justin Long is so fucking good. He's able to sell that,
he sells it great. He's a great actor.
Thing, and I'm like, yeah, they deserve some comeuppance, but dude, that's a terrible fucking ending. to someone who doesn't isn't pure evil, but has lost their way. That's a terrible fucking ending.
But that's why I think the end of the movie that's what I think is one of the problems with the movie, though, is because it feels to me like they're trying to do this interesting redemption story for Justin Long. And if that's the case, then at the end of the movie, what is he? He's just an animal?
That's not how I read it. I didn't read it as redemption, because even in Howard Howe's explanation about you have to go full walrus to survive, and the only reason he survived that situation was because he went full aggression, animalistic, and I think the point being, once you go there, you can't come back. And I think the bigger allegory would be in his life, once you could really become a piece of shit and really fully go into that place, it's really hard to come back.
But you see, that becomes problematic for me, though, because you learn towards the end of the movie that Howard had to eat Mr. Tusk. He had to kill him and eat Mr. Tusk. So he puts him in the suit and fights him in order to give Mr. Tusk a chance at redemption.
Well, the only way that he was that was the test of if he successfully made Mr. Tusk was that the guy who he gets to do it does kill him.
Yeah.
Right, but it was a way of being able to survive almost.
Yeah.
There's I don't know, to me,
his apologize to Mr. Tusk.
Yeah, that was his apology. He hated that he had to kill the original Mr. Tusk.
Right. Again, for me, a lot of the movie was just, there was so much redemption story in it.
But I think you might be reading too much into it, because at the end, I don't know, towards the middle of the credits, they play the podcast where they basically come up with the third act for the movie, and they just say, wouldn't it be funny if he just doesn't get out of the walrus form?
Yeah.
No, because they can't, you can't reverse that process. Medicine doesn't know how to reverse the process of going human to walrus and then back to human. So now he's just stuck as walrus.
Perhaps I'm looking into it too deeply, but that's what I took away from it.
No, I mean, I'm sure, it makes sense, but I think Kevin Smith was out to make a movie about a guy turning into a walrus, and just because he thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
But-
is very uncomfortable.
But I put this movie, while I loved it so much,
My eyes are burning.
put it at number 6, like responsibly, I think. Number 6, and I think because during the second thing, I was like, yeah, it's kind of like this is a list of body horror movies, and this is kind of only half of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because it spends so long doing the Johnny Depp, Kevin Smith comedy thing for so long that it goes away from it for a little bit. So while I do enjoy it, it is more of a comedy than it is a horror. Ooh, look at you go.
You bubbling up.
Yeah, Lucas, along those lines, I placed this movie 7 of 8,
Oh, God.
and I like it a lot. Again, there's only one movie on this list I didn't like, but it happens to be just about that body horror kind of aspect. I think it's pretty close to a body horror film. It just, man, when Johnny Depp shows up, it kind of grinds to a halt for me. Like I think what he's doing is great, but like we are spending a lot of time here. Like that's a 20-minute segment of your movie where you're in that diner and he's telling this story. I'm just, I think that first half, again, Austin, like you said, that first half is fucking gold. I was like, this is a great movie, straight up.
And I also want to point out, I don't hate this movie. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
I just think that this time around, I did not enjoy it as much as I remembered, and I think I was disappointed in that fact. And I'm disappointed in A, how slowly this thing is bubbling up, and B, how much it tickles. It tickles a lot. It tickles
Do you
a
want
lot.
to scratch it really bad?
So badly. Jessica, did I do this wrong?
You put a lot on there, bud.
I don't think I put enough on.
I think it's working how it's supposed to. It's a slow, like you're supposed to leave it on for a while, and then it's just gonna keep
It's
growing.
15. It says 15 minutes.
Well, let's
You
do
read
it.
Chinese?
No, it says it in English. I found this side, and it's also
Oh.
this is very alarming. How to use after cleansing and toning. Did not do that. Take a proper amount of mud film. What's that?
Mud film.
What's proper amount?
Cody, a proper amount. Don't
Shut
you
up,
have
Lucas.
manners?
Gently massage. Wait, hold on. Apply evenly on the face, which I did not do. Gently massage for 1 minute after foaming, which that seems weird that I'd be massaging now. And then after 10 to 15 minutes, wash with warm water. Maddie tells me that do this?
Yeah, do that. See what happens. Do a little zhuzh. Maybe
Why
it'll bubble.
not?
Huh. Yeah, might have had to do a little bit with like cleaning the face beforehand. Who knows?
Oh, weird.
You took away all the bubbles.
Come back.
This is
and
still great. I love this.
come back, but you don't get to rinse it away. All right.
I mean, I have to at some point. Otherwise, I could damage my skin.
I just want to say, just for posterity's sake, let's give credit to the wide shot of the walruses fighting each other, of just the like.
Yeah.
That's great. That's cinema, guys. So just
I love
had
that.
to say that.
All right, next
All right.
wheel. This is Lucas's turn.
Lucas.
Yay! Gonna get a fucking punishment. I know it.
It's gonna be bad.
I'm not gonna get to talk about any fucking movies.
I haven't gotten to hear Lucas do a Hallow Down yet. I'm kind of disappointed.
You should get to do one. No.
Oh, hot sauce.
Again?
Yeah, you got hot sauce.
God. This is stupid.
Just keep
Maybe this
getting
game isn't fair.
We have to get rid of some of these punishments.
Yeah,
How
we
many?
should get rid of some punishments.
Hold on. Wait, Lucas, before you do your thing, how many? We have 3 movies left. How many punishments are on the board? Three punishments and 3 movies.
It's pretty.
That's pretty
Wait.
fair.
Jessica, why did you say I'm doing it wrong? You told me I was doing it right.
Is that what you spun it on, Huck?
Oh, they're bubbling up.
Did you spin it on 3 punishments and 3 movies? Okay.
Oh, it's 50.
That was before, Cody. You're doing it better now.
Good.
I don't know if I am. It's in my hair.
Did you eat your sauce? Or we're letting
Here
him.
you go.
Oh God, this poor guy. This poor fucking guy.
Oh, oh.
You're not supposed to rub your eyes. You're gonna get it in your eye.
I don't think he touched it. All right. The king's back to claim more points and solidify his reign.
All right, yeah, spin that wheel for Austin. This poor man.
Spin the wheel. Where will it land? Oh, the wheel's being weird. You just
Ow! Ow!
Weird wheel. All right. All right.
Ugh.
Crash.
Oh, finally!
God damn it.
Finally.
I've gotten 0.
You got 0 punishment.
All right, here we
This is great.
go.
Oh fuck! Oh, this movie. Okay,
You ready?
I think.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, James Spader is a producer in Canada, and he's in a loveless marriage with his super hot wife, and they bang other people all the time. He's driving around one day, and he crashes straight into not Jodie Foster, the other one's car, and it kills her husband. And so they meet up again at the hospital, and they're like, we're kind of connected now. And so they do a bang. And then he's hanging out with her, and they go to this show where this guy that he met at the hospital earlier crashes cars into stuff, and he ends up hanging out with that dude. Turns out that dude is in this little club of people who are turned on by car crashes and like body destruction and car crashes. So he hangs out with them for a while. And then they go to a car wash at one point, and that dude bangs his wife.
20
He's
seconds.
in James Spader for a while. He drives him off a ledge, and he dies. And they all think it's like hot and exciting.
15
And like
seconds.
everyone's just banging anyone. James Spader, I think, puts his dick in a lady's leg scar. Anyway, at the end, he's chasing his wife in a car, and she drives off a ravine, and they crash, but she doesn't die. And they seem almost bummed out about it. And then they bang on the side of the road. I mean, I don't know what I missed.
I felt like you got some shit out of order and you missed a bunch of random fucking and nonsense and tattoos and
Oh, I gotta go over all the random fucking.
no. I'm not saying you didn't get
No.
it right. I think you were
I think
fine.
he got it. I think he got it. There was only one big point for me, but otherwise, that you fucking got it.
What your point is? Tattoos?
No,
before
go ahead.
before we keep going, I need to go wash this off of my face because it is starting to burn a little
All
bit.
right, let's
Okay.
do our trivia, and then you can leave, and we'll start talking about the movie, and then you
Yes,
can
that's absolutely fine. Go.
Great.
All right. Trivia for Crash.
Crash.
There are 2 celebrity car deaths depicted. James Dean and who else?
Well, there were technically more, but I know who you're asking about. It's a girl. Fucking what's her name? Oh no. Cloris Leachman.
Apologize right now to Chorus.
Just answer before Curtis.
Jane Mansfield. Jane Mansfield.
Jane Dean.
Wow.
All right.
I
So
knew-
Curtis, did you get those points?
Curtis is on the board.
On a board.
All right. We got 1,000 for Curtis and Cody, 2,000 for Austin, and nothing but smiley faces for Lucas,
Oh.
but not any point.
Poor
Go wash
guy.
your face.
Go
Go
watch
wash your
it.
face.
I'm going
Yeah,
to.
we don't want him to become a body horror
I'm like
himself.
Cody's mom. She's like, go wash your
Yeah,
face.
go wash your face now.
Uh-huh.
The audacity of me to say that to somebody while my face looks like this is.
This is true.
It's not the irony is not lost.
That's true.
Do we talk about Crash? Do we not talk about Crash?
What was the
We can.
Jessica? Did you have other trivia for that? If you want to
Oh,
I
yeah.
got some
play for fun.
trivia questions. All right. What kind of car does Vaughn drive?
Oh, it's Cadillac, I think.
Mercury.
A Buick.
It's a Lincoln.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, Lincoln.
I
No,
was
you're
gonna
right.
say Lincoln, and I was like, it's probably a Mercury though.
Is it not a Lincoln Mercury? Because that's
Lincoln Mercury. Actually, that might be right. I probably would take that.
it. Might be. Yeah.
Their logo.
I think my
I-
grandma had that car. It talked.
What?
Talk.
My grandma, there was, I think it was a Mercury, and she was, I mean, she was still driving. This is in West Virginia. She had a Lincoln. It would say like, "Buckle your seatbelt."
What?
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was an old car. I was like, what is happening right now?
Is your grandma a Knight Rider?
Yes.
Yeah. And, which, incidentally, she loved that show. She had like all the
Oh.
seasons on VHS, and she would watch Knight Rider all the time.
Here's another trivia question I had. What
Oh.
were James Dean's last words according to Vaughn?
Don't worry.
Oh, B.
I already
Don't
said,
Okay.
worry, he's gonna see us.
or he sees us, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Nope, don't
Damn
worry,
it.
the guy's got to see us. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, how would you know that's his last words? If I guess the other guy didn't die.
Yeah.
The Italian guy didn't die. Okay.
Then we have, this one's a little harder. What is the name of the porno magazine on top of in the car that has been exposed after the crash?
Oh, you monster.
No idea. didn't know.
Backdoor Sluts 14.
Not wrong. It's a fistful of bimbos.
Oh,
It's full of bimbos. Oh boy. Yeah, I didn't know any of those. Jesus.
No.
What,
Damn it.
Jesus.
what leg does James Ballard break?
I'm sorry?
What
Which
leg
leg?
does James Ballard break?
His
His
left.
Yeah.
Curtis got it.
Oh, yeah.
He can drive with his right.
Yeah,
Do you have any
that's true.
more fun? Anyways, that's just some fun trivia. Just some fun things.
Fun
There's
via.
some fun little trivia questions from Crash.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how many details I knew from that movie until I started being asked about them. That's how engaging this movie was.
Dude. All right. Cody's back and not scarred.
I'm not gonna lie. For a moment, my whole face was raw red.
Uh-huh.
And my eyes are a little bit on fire.
Perfect.
Well, you
but
look
how do you
good.
yeah, you look.
Yeah, you look
refreshed.
great. You look youthful.
My skin feels very clean. Feels cleansed,
Nice.
which I think is
Good.
the point of the application.
Yeah.
That is the point.
All right. New sponsor, as we
New
are being told
sponsor.
right now. BioAqua. That's definitely
BioAqua.
BioAqua.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you guys already talk about the movie?
No.
No.
We
we
answered some trivia.
Bonus
Okay.
trivia. So we've not discussed
For points or not not for points?
no points, just for
Okay.
fun. Well, just
I am very, very, very thrilled and excited to hear why Curtis loves this fucking movie.
yeah.
Not just
Me
Curtis
too.
loves this movie.
I put this at number 5 just to throw it out there.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't like it, but I respect it.
and it's number 6 for me.
Yeah.
I did like it. I had a lot of respect for it, but it just wasn't my favorite of these movies.
No. Like there are like movies below it that there's one movie below it that I enjoyed more, but I can't argue that Crash isn't just better.
Lucas, where'd you put it?
It's 7 for me.
Yeah.
But I don't like it at 7. Again, it's just one of those things where it's like I did enjoy all of these movies to some degree, so it's a relative ranking. Not to say that it's a bad movie, but it is close to the bottom.
Yeah. All right. It's my number 2. Right after The Fly. This is my second favorite body horror movie we covered for this. And I do believe it's body horror, and I think it lies within my own definition I had for that subgenre, which it's about these people's obsession to not be themselves. Their disdain for themselves is so great that they keep crashing their bodies into metal to feel something. And I think the motivations of a few of them are different. Clearly, Elias Koteas has a different motivation than Rosanna Arquette and Holly Hunter, who just get off on it purely. And then the motivation is different for James Spader and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But they all find this. That's like you can also call it a cult movie. It'd be very easily a cult movie because Elias Koteas is leading this thing that he tells people it's a certain thing, but it's actually not. He's lying to them.
Mm-hmm.
At first, he's like, it's about how technology. This poor guy. At first, he says it's about how human bodies are shaped by technology, which I think is that could, if it's taken out of context, that's the definition for body horror. But he's lying. He's not. That's not. I don't think what he really means by that. And just these people's obsession to just meld their bodies with metal, and not so much as another movie we're about to talk about, but with metal and each other, and the hopes of dying and being mangled. And also, I understand this is a very subjective thing. The horror of it all. It's not a very graphic movie gore wise. There's some stuff, but not really. I was just on the edge of my nerves watching them drive. Whenever someone's driving in this movie, I'm like one of my biggest jump scares is like the one where a car gets T-boned out of nowhere, right? So I'm like, where is that
Right.
coming from? I'm so anxious because I know these people want it. That's the other thing. It's like, it's not necessarily going to be a surprise. I'm like, when is one of these people going to careen into another car? Or in the way it was shot too, like the shots of that precision driving, super cool to me.
Yeah.
But I was very, very anxious the whole time. And I love the performances, and it's such a weird thing out the gate. Like there's 3 fucking scenes, maybe 4 in the first 5 minutes. And you're like, what is this going to be? And it could have very easily failed. And in my eyes, it did not.
Wow.
So for me, I don't think it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that it seeks to horrify. In any way, shock, sure, and thrill, yeah.
Arouse.
Titillate.
I actually don't think it seeks to arouse or titillate either. I think if anything, it makes.
Well, then why did it move? Why did I feel so compelled to?
Because you're fucking weird. It's to me it felt like because Curtis, I think there is obviously the movie, from my perspective, obviously the movie's obsessed with bodies, and it's obsessed with people's, as you said, their insecurities within themselves, and as you put it so perfectly, literally crashing their bodies into themselves. So I think it is obsessed with that, and it's dealing with bodies in a very unique and interesting way. But I don't think it's a horror movie. And interestingly, when I watched this for the first time, I thought you'd seen it. So, I thought you had suggested it for this show because you're like, yeah, it's a fucking body horror movie. So I'm watching the movie and inserting this is a body horror movie every possible moment that I could get, but then going, I don't know if I think this is body horror. And then by the end of the movie, I went, man, did Curtis and I watch a different movie?
That's funny.
And so then when I found out that you actually hadn't seen it, I was like, okay, maybe it's just actually the way I feel about it. To me, it felt like a psychological body thriller.
Yeah, that's hilarious. The only thing I'd say, and I'll shut the fuck up, is I don't think it's a horror movie, but I still think it's a body horror movie.
Interesting.
Okay.
It did not fit my criteria for body horror or even horror. It's kind of this thriller. I don't even know what the fuck it is, but it didn't. Yeah, because I felt like the core wasn't like horrible things happening to your bodies, but then I don't know. It's such a unique thing that people should watch if you're into movies, just because it's so outside of so many categories in a lot of ways. And that's why I have a lot of respect for the movie, and I didn't not enjoy it, but it's not a movie that I feel compelled to watch again. It's not a movie I feel compelled to try and let it occupy brain space and try and deconstruct it in any great way. I see what it is and I respect it, and it's just not my thing so much.
Yeah, the only reason it's so low on my list is same reason I don't think it meets the horror criteria for this list. I can't help but think that the Robert California character from The Office was in some way inspired by this character.
I think
because when Robert California is introduced to The Office, he in his interview he says everything is sex. There is no such thing as a product. Everything is sex, and everything in that character is just like Robert California finds a way to sexualize it, right? In the same way, I was just like you guys said, like there's just sex scene after sex scene after sex scene, and I'm just going like, what is this movie? Why are you doing this to me? And then you start to get into the car thing, and like, and I'm slowly putting together. I'm like, these fucking people are getting off to car crashes, and so now I'm getting this weird peek in the David Cronenberg's mind. And this was the third movie. So the order I watched the Cronenberg movies that we watched was The Fly, then Videodrome, and then this. So The Fly, I'm like, David, you're weird, and I love you. This is awesome. Go get it, dude. And then Videodrome, you're like, okay, David, like this is like you're kind of kinky and weird. Okay, I get you. And then Crash, you're like, get the fuck out, David. What the fuck? You're so weird. Get out.
Yeah. Crash is the David who stayed way too late at the party.
Go home. Go the fuck home.
Yeah, he's pitching you all these ideas, and then the last one's like, hey, do you ever like look at a horrific car accident on the freeway and you just are raging hard, and you're like, David, why are you like this? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it, man.
But for what it is, I did really enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'll watch it again, but I did really enjoy myself by the end of it. Didn't think I'd like it, but I did.
You know, in retrospect, I think that this, at least in my opinion, might be the simplest of the movies that we watched. Because at the root of it, to me, the whole movie is basically just a movie about a marriage that's fucked up. And it's really kind of simple. Like they have intimacy issues. They're in an open marriage. And then in a weird way of encapsulating how to fix a marriage, they bring in this very strange element of body psychosis and weird sex,
Right.
you know, around car crashes. And then at the end, they're able to like that. I think the way that he bookended the movie with maybe the next one.
Next one, yeah.
I thought that was fucking just so poignant and brilliant with what the movie's doing. I loved that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Vaughn character is one of the slimiest, most itchy people I've ever seen on cinema screens.
Oh
Like
my.
that. I talked with Jessica about it. I was like, you know what I think the first choice for that role was, and they couldn't get him, and it would have been worse off, is Robert De Niro. Like he could have done that. Like that's a Max Cady performance.
Uh-huh.
But Elias Koteas is like just fucking slimy enough. And like with a weird smile that you kind of believe sometimes.
You know what sucks is that I had like a week ago just watched Turtles in Time. I was like, this is weird because I just watched you do a kids movie, and now
what is Turtles in Time?
The third Ninja Turtles live action movie.
Oh, I've only ever seen the first one.
Yeah, this was low key my favorite. I know it's a hot thing, but we're not here to talk Ninja Turtles. But he plays the hockey character. He plays their hockey friend in that movie. He's like a he's like a Ninja Turtle character.
Wait, isn't he in the first one
well,
too?
He plays Casey. He plays Casey Jones.
Oh, and he's in all of them? Okay.
Yeah, he plays
Holy
Casey Jones.
shit, that is Casey Jones. Wait, and who is it that this fucker looks like? Because he looks like somebody else that I.
The guy from Law and Order.
Yes, that guy.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Yes, that guy.
Lucas.
Mandy Patinkin is who he looks like.
Different but true.
Different guy, but yes, also that. Yes.
Yeah, Christopher Maloney is who we're talking about.
Christopher Maloney. That's the guy's name.
Yes.
Lucas, I recently started watching that video you sent, and that guy talks about the Christopher Maloney.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Mandy Patinkin, Christopher Maloney, love child with STDs is him in this.
Yeah, when that scene though, like I was like struggling with like where's the horror, and then he starts banging the leg gash in the Mercedes, and I was like, here we go, all right. now we're cooking with gas. Here we go.
I know. I'm surprised that's about as far as it went, because I thought it was going to get much worse.
That
Full
was
full hamstring pen.
So Maddie went. She watched almost 3. I'm gonna say she watched out of the 371 horror movies that I watched last year. I think she probably watched. I'm gonna say it 300 of them.
Wow.
And they were a lot of them were weird as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
We've been together for almost 12 years, I think, and she's never walked just straight up and like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
when they got to that scar fucking thing, she was like, I am done.
That's fair.
She got up, she's like, I'm fucking out.
That's
and
a
she
very
went up,
reasonable threshold.
right. She made it so far too.
She did make
Oh,
it pretty
that's
far.
late. That's late in the game.
Whew, I can't. Yeah, man. I don't quite feel like a crazy person because I believe in myself, but I feel like a little bit. Like
No,
this
dude,
is
it's
this
a
is
solid
5-star movie. Like
It's
this.
a solid movie. I don't give it 5 stars. I gave it 4, I think. But it's
Yeah.
a solid fucking movie. It's unique. There's nothing
Hmm.
another movie that I've never seen anything fucking like it. It's
Yeah.
brilliant in so many ways.
It's
And
not
I want
but it's really good.
right. And there's something else that I really kind of wish that we had done. I wish that we had the basketball shorts and Crash watch party.
Oh yeah.
We
I would have
all
lost immediately.
I think I was so scared I stayed successfully not aroused at this movie.
yeah, I was not aroused at all.
I took
It
a
was,
precaution before I watched it to make sure that would be less likely.
what was the precaution?
You can figure it out.
Oh, I got it. I got
Plus,
it.
Pipes so that there's no because if it moves during this, I'm gonna think about that for a long time.
Mhm.
So I
Austin,
would
did you watch this with Kaylin?
no. No.
Did you float the idea with Kaylin, or did
No.
you? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
The only one she watched me through was Slither because I'm like this. Why did she watch Tusk?
Hmm.
'Cause I thought Slither. Okay, there's a lot of comedy in there.
Yeah.
You're like that's the closest I think you're gonna come to liking, and she didn't love it. And then we watched Tusk, and she really hated the visual of the wall. Really bothered her. It was kind of good with everything else, but just the visual of Justin Long. And so then later that night, I was just going ah! And she was like, stop! You need to stop! I hate the walrus. Man. I hate the Those are the only two she participated
On the
in.
grocery list, you're like mackerel.
Mackerel. Ah!
Yeah.
Well, I know what her Halloween costume is going to be this year.
Oh.
She's going to be out now and on.
That's fucking hilarious.
Next,
All right.
next,
That's Crash.
that's Crash.
Moving on. That is Cody's turn now, I believe.
No, I think
it's
your turn.
fuck. It is my turn. God.
Yeah, because I got
I think there's only we make sure there's a appropriate amount of whatever.
Did we adjust anything?
I don't know. We probably should have.
Hey, hot sauce!
Hot sauce for Curtis.
Hot sauce for Curtis. Oh, your first hot sauce.
Spin it again, Huck.
Oh, he's got the same one. Yeah, we can do. Hold on, let's see if my headphones reach. You keep going.
Oh, this smells. I can't. This takes me right back to Cody's backyard. The first time we did this, the smell of this shit.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
And I have the Apollo hot sauce.
Oh, the Apollo hot sauce. Tell us about that. That's the new hot ones. Did you take it, Curtis?
Yeah.
Well, since it seems like again.
What? For who? For Lucas? What? That man is. All right.
What
how many-
happened? What did I get?
You got you hot sauce again.
Hot sauce again!
Let's look. I'm happy to not make him do that as his friend.
I'll do
Society. Wait, Austin got Society? Wait, hold on. Hold on. You're just spinning wheels, Huck. No one even knows what's happening.
No. We told him to keep going.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll just do the punishment. Let Austin do society.
Yeah.
I'll just do I'll switch it out for more vodka though.
Great.
Because it seems increasingly less likely that I'm going to eat my hot sauce, I just want to tell you, I combined all my hot sauces that I own together
Okay.
into a bowl.
That really is a Brundlefly digestion.
Yeah. That's a vomit drop.
I didn't have like an especially hot one, so I'm like, wonder what happens if I put them all together.
It probably
What'd
just
you
tastes
do,
real
Cody?
bad.
Yeah. It smells
Hey,
awful.
Did you eat the bubble mask?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's put it down to a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1 movie to punishment after this.
Yeah, we should do a 50-50. So society,
50-50? Yeah, great. This is Austin. This is yours.
Yes,
I will time you.
Oh, he's got the Apollo. Should we take a minute to
Wait a
observe
minute.
Cody's just
I
perfect?
I did a quarter teaspoon of it because I felt like I needed to be in line with Curtis, and I think I did more than was necessary.
All right.
I had
You
some.
ready to go? You ready to go, Hell King?
Yes, Hallow King shall hallow down society.
Society hallowed out in 3, 2, 1.
So there's a young boy, I'm pretty sure his name's Bill, and he lives in Beverly Hills with his family, and he feels like he feels different from his family. He thinks they're different. He's seeing a shrink, and he's like, my family's crazy, and the guy's like, you're crazy. So he's going to school. He's noticing all this weird shit's going on, and his sister goes to this party, and her sister's ex-boyfriend records her. Is like, yo, you gotta listen to this. So I listen, and he hears stuff about his parents are gonna copulate and do fucking and all kinds of weird shit. And so he goes to his shrink. He's like, you gotta listen to this tape. He plays the tape back. It's different. And he's like, oh my god, I'm losing my mind. Then this one dweeby kid comes up. He's like, yo, I'm gonna tell you everything that happens. And then he dies. And there's all this mystery and confusion and chaos. And so he finally confronts his parents, and they say, ha, this was all a trick. We raised you from birth to eat you and absorb you because we see we are a different species than humans, and we survive by absorbing those of the lesser. So they absorb the ex-boyfriend, and then they're going to absorb him.
10
and there's
seconds.
crazy sex stuff and a butt-faced man, but he's able to escape with the help of his friend and one of the people, the girl who loves him, and they ride off into the sunset.
1.
I'm leaning.
You missed a key plot point, but I'm leaning
toward a
yes. I'm leaning.
a yes
Yeah.
with a lot of shunting missed out on. But
Shunting, yeah. I said they tried to absorb him. That's the shunting. I can't go into the details of what shunting is. That's the point.
Monster, are you happy with it?
Monster Raider's the final word.
I'm happy enough with it.
Yes, that's where I live, baby. Satisfactory.
All right. I have two really interesting trivia questions.
Okay.
Let's do this one. The director of this movie, whose name is Brian Yuzna, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, is a Filipino American, just like two people in this current room,
Hey.
and Lucas. He was also a producer on this 1985 comedy horror classic. I have a hint if that's too vague.
Yeah, I would love a hint.
That horror classic is loosely based on an H.P. Lovecraft novelette.
1985 horror comedy classic H.P. Lovecraft novelette.
I'm very angry you don't know your Filipinos and cinema history.
Reanimator.
Oh!
Beyond, from Beyond.
No, Reanimator.
Okay, Cody and Curtis got that at the same time, so I'm going to do a second question.
Wait.
No.
What's
It was
It's
Reanimator.
I said
Curtis
Austin said it.
Austin and Curtis
said it.
both said it. Then I
Oh,
said
wait,
From
you
Beyond.
yes, I did. I said it before Curtis. I just guessed.
Well, then we have to have a follow-up
Oh,
where
Wait, didn't I say it first? I still had time. You were getting close, and I said
He did say it first.
that was my last ditch
Yeah.
effort. That was the only because that's the only horror comedy based on
I
H.P.
was
Lovecraft.
tapping, so I couldn't hear.
I give it to Austin. Austin gets the points. Austin gets
Alright.
the points. And Cody, you said From Beyond, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
well,
not
yeah.
it's
Okay.
wrong year. Wrong year. I was wrong.
That's what confused me was you were so excited, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's got to be something more obscure than Reanimator. He produced Reanimator? Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he produced Reanimator, and then, well, maybe I shouldn't say the next part because that might be more trivia. Oh wait, no, I guess
Oh
trivia.
no, it's over.
He directed Bride of Reanimator.
Oh. Society.
Which is a shame because this is not as good as those.
Well, I think it's much better than Bride of Reanimator, but
Well, I have not seen Bride of Reanimator. I can't imagine it's great. I have Society at 6, because I did enjoy it. I think it suffers from being heavy-handed in its. Oh, perfect. He's got the
Brilliant. I
Yeah.
loved that.
fantastic. I think it's heavy-handed in what they're doing, and I think it takes a real long time to sort of get to the fun. But I did enjoy it, and God, is this a weird movie? Like down to the mom character, who's like,
That was the most jarring part
That
for
was
sure.
that was a choice. The eating, just the like big dumb hairy. Yeah,
Yeah, I have no
Do
idea.
they
what that's
ever
about.
explain that?
No, they do not.
not at all.
I'm like, am I missing something? Do they explain why she's this Mongol? Oh, you can't say that.
Weird
sorry.
zombie mom. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope,
she
they
could
don't.
be. She could be a weird zombie because she's clearly not of the high society, but they keep her alive, and I think it's partially because that daughter. Again, I'm just fucking riffing on this. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
the
not in
rules
the
aren't.
movie.
Yeah, the rules aren't explained
Rules are
really.
way out.
There's
Also,
a lot of things that aren't explained.
have to shunt people. Is it once a year? 50 people shunt one person? I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah.
A lot of questions. I mean, I love the visuals of
Yeah.
like the slurping and the weird face things and like, you know, the butt face. Like what that scene in the bedroom towards the end. I was at my dad's house earlier and I was like, "Have you ever seen Society?" He said no. And I'm like, I just gotta show you this one scene. And I just fast forwarded to the bed scene and just he was like, "What the hell is this movie's insane?" I wish there was a little
Yeah.
bit more of that.
Yeah, the effects made by Howlin' Mad George is what that guy's name is.
Oh, I remember seeing that in the credit. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have this at number 4 on my list.
Wow.
It's pretty high for me. Because I like it as a bad 80s sex comedy. It honestly, it reads a lot like Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird sex comedy that I think works well. I mean, there's a lot of body horror that exists before the shunting. There's like all the weird stuff that the bodies can do, like after they have sex the first time, and before she says, "Can I pee in your coffee or tea?"
How do you like your tea? Cream, sugar, or do you want me to pee in it?
So fucking strange. But there's that moment where like her body's twisted a little bit, and there's a couple other ones as well. But like, I buy this weird dystopian like. There are no teachers at these kids' school. They're just kids debating each other.
Yelling about
There's
it.
no
Moderated by another student.
yeah. It's this is a lot like Teen Wolf, to be honest. Like that Styles character is essentially his best friend.
It is Beverly Hills High, and they don't have teachers because they're all going to be rich forever. So what do they need? Not.
So that allegory reads really well for me. Like it's goofy and it's way too much and too silly and too high concept to really be good, but it works for me. I think it's funny, and I think the weirdness is really funny.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. It's funny that you compared it to Tammy and the T-Rex because I thought the acting in this was like really bad. And I don't like I didn't get any like really standout performances from anybody. Like Tammy and the T-Rex, like everyone in that movie is going for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just over the top. And that's how you sell a movie that silly and crazy. This movie kind of needed that for us to wait so long for that big crescendo at the end of the shunting. And I think that's where this movie kind of fell short, was like it had all the like bad 80s things without the charm.
Mm-hmm.
I only disagree when it comes to the adults. I think the adults are giving good performances and are like half in on the joke, and then when the joke turns, they're like fully in on it. So I think the adults are doing well, and the kid, it's a Starship Troopers scenario for me. Like the kids are bad and they don't know it, and that's part of the point. Like they're just bad actors and they're in this thing because they're supposed to be shitty and stupid, but the adults know what they're doing and they're better. That it's entirely subjective, but that's how I read it. So,
Right. That's fair.
And I know the 80s are known for bad hair, but like no one had good hair in this movie.
Oh, that hair.
I don't know why that was such a noticeable thing for me, but I was like, everyone's hairstyle is atrocious.
You're like the mom who eats hair. You just that's you. That's your spirit animal.
So this movie is number 3 on my list.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right.
I'm not even the crazy one here.
I adore this movie, and I do for equal reasons that I think are valid and I can back up, and reasons that are completely insane and I cannot back up. I think for the reasons that are that I do love it, it's pretty obvious. The social commentary is really interesting. It's very clever. I love movies about what are those fucking rich white people doing in there. I love that little subgenre or facet of so many horror movies. I love the weird fucking wild third act of this movie. It just blows my fucking mind every time I watch it. I love there are so many smart things to me, like how they're literally eating and consuming what's beneath them, to the extent that when they eat Blanchard, Judge Carter gets Blanchard's mole on his face. There's just so many of these little nuances, and I watched this movie 2 days in a row, and I was fascinated by how when you watch it again so quickly, you start to notice so many things. Like from the beginning, they're like alluding to how it's going to end, and I'm not really trying to give it credit there. I appreciated that shit. Reasons that I can't really back up for why I love it, that I part of which I realized when I was outlining the movie so I could try to do the Hallow down just in case I got it, and that's that most of it doesn't make any fucking sense. There are so many things that happen in this movie where you're like, how did you even get there? For instance, he goes to he goes to his parents' house to confront them. They drug him, send him to the hospital where his death is then faked, but he's not really, it's like a really bad fake death. And then he breaks out of the hospital, but then decides to go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't you just, why do you go back? There's so many weird moments.
Where else are you gonna go?
Yeah,
Right.
he wanted an answer. Boy, you gotta go home.
Well, there's just other weird shit where it's like he goes up after he finds the friend with his throat slit, and he goes to the girl's house that he's been having sex with. He knocks on the door to her home, and she opens the door and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Yes.
She's like, "I live here."
Yeah.
What?
Mhm.
What?
Laugh at that.
What are you talking about?
I think even in a moment of like, here,
Yeah, there's just so many and then the random lines like the pee in it, or my personal favorite when he walks in with the sex doll to his parents' room, and like the mom, the dad, and the sister are like doing something weird, and he goes, "I don't know what's going on here, but I don't appreciate it." It's just all these like, there's just so many moments where it's just
That's a
I don't
very
know.
relatable line for sure.
It just tickles me so much in this movie. I cannot justify why I love it so much, with the exception of saying the third act is incredible in so many ways.
Yeah.
But I love this movie. There's just something that it tickles me.
Yeah, it's kind of like it does it for you or it doesn't, sort of
Right.
deal. And I don't, again, like the Austin's Tusk scenario, I don't begrudge anyone who does not like this movie.
Totally.
No,
Won't-
not at all.
Won't do it.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
definitely probably my human centipede in there, but my movie's probably way worse.
That said, I will note that Jessica's review on Letterboxd is the only time in like years that I have been compelled to respond on the internet. And I think I responded by saying, "How dare you?"
Wait, Jessica, please tell us what your review of Society was.
Right.
I will find it.
I would like to just take this moment to know I don't review movies. I actually hate reviewing movies because I'm just like, I don't know, movies exist and they're nice and that's fine. So I joined this thing because Curtis made me, and it's been a blight on my life.
Jessica, your review, or whatever you want to call it, on January 15th of 2021, this year of our Lord, was, "If a cliche and a fart made a baby, it would be this movie."
Woo!
I love that. Wait, why aren't we Letterboxd friends? I'm hurt.
Yeah, hold up.
What was wrong with that, Cody? I feel actually I would rewrite that. I would write the same thing again.
I stand by it.
And that's fine. You are welcome to stand by it, and I will stand by my retort of "How dare you."
That's only under the assumption that you think those two things are bad, because there are a lot of
cliche-
cliches, and there's the emotional sameness of farts, and I feel
Wait, so you're giving it a good review?
no.
It was a good review, but with 1.5 stars.
I liked it better than Teeth.
Oh, see, better than Teeth.
I've got to watch Teeth again because I liked it. We'll get it if we have time at the end. I'll go into. I remember liking it, but that could have been my old misogynist self from
My own misogynist self.
I don't know.
No.
Me and Maddie both enjoyed it.
I feel like it's a 10 years ago movie. You watched it 10 years ago, you're like, oh, that's
I did watch it 10 years
Subversive.
ago, and I
'Cause
like.
that was Teeth and Human Centipede were like same time.
This is
Close, yeah.
Teeth's 2006.
Pretty close.
Human Centipede's what? 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Heath
It's
was
close.
made by the son of Roy Lichtenstein, which if anybody knows who Roy Lichtenstein is, it's a like what a disappointment. My reasoning is that it feels like a movie that like a woke dude tries to make. Like he's like, look, this is feminism. She's empowered. She's this. This movie is not feminist. It feels terrible to watch. Like this woman's just like chomping
So-
dicks with her vagina and having no trauma about that. That is terrible.
Yeah,
It's-
I agree.
that's even a very like high version of that. Sorry. Anyway.
Venting. I will say this. I'm sorry that it offended you, Cody, but I feel like it was an accurate depiction. I don't
That-
hate the movie.
Don't
That's fine.
apologize
I
to
don't.
Cody.
I am. You don't need to apologize to me.
I mean, the butt face man literally farts.
Look.
Look,
Yes.
son. I am a butthead.
My favorite thing, I watched this with our monsterator, and her favorite joke when it came up was like, what do you think I am? Or like he says when he brings up butthead, what's his line? He says, you're a butthead.
No, fuck you,
Right?
butthead.
Yeah, fuck you, butthead. Exactly. And then she laughed. She's like, that's your comeback? Fuck you, butthead. And I was like, you just fucking wait. Because I'd seen this before.
I like
And then the comeuppance of that is really fucking good for me.
the only audible laugh I had was that I think the psychiatrist goes upstairs and knocks on the bedroom door like, what are you guys doing in there? They're like, we're changing. And he's like, into what? And I was like, that's so
Yeah.
stupid.
That guy's one-liners were insane.
Yeah, it is a super fun movie. It's,
Yeah, it's-
weird as shit, but it is fun.
I
Well,
would like to propose
Society.
something.
yes.
Suppose.
Since the last movie that is left is, I think Lucas has now said numerous times, his new favorite movie of all time. And he has not been able to hallow down a single thing because the Wheel of Death just wants to fuck him in the ass.
I will gladly agree to your
Yeah.
proposal.
Let's
Yeah.
just let him hallow it down.
Here we are. The theoretical wheel has spun. We are on Tetsuo, the Iron Man. I will take a piece of hot sauce. I mean, two of us theoretically do.
Yeah,
Until we
okay.
get to him. Oh, sorry.
right, well,
Huckleberry
then-
just chimed in and said, sorry, we
No,
could just
no.
ignore him and the show goes
Yeah, no.
on.
No.
That's the thing here. Keep forgetting the listeners can't hear him.
Yeah. I
Right.
vote skip to Lucas.
Skip to Lucas and I'll do some
Skip
more
to
hot
Lucas.
sauce.
I'm not doing any more hot sauce. That Apollo stuff is. Oh.
I'm gonna try, you know what? I'll try a little hot sauce. Just to make the option.
Oh, it landed on Tetsuo. It's me.
Wait, it landed on Walrus Mask for who? Curtis?
No.
Oh, I already did that, so I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, no.
Don't want to damage my skin.
Lucas is hallowing down Tetsuo.
You
Start my
have
timer.
1 minute to do this. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
So there's a metal fetishist, and he is jamming rods into his arm, and maggots overcome his scar, and it drives him crazy. So he runs out into the street, gets hit by a car, and then we're introduced to a Japanese businessman who he wakes up one day and he has a thing in his face, and it looks like a pimple, but it's a little piece of metal. He pops it, blood comes out, and then he goes to take, oh god damn it, he goes to the subway, then meets a crazy puppet woman who terrorizes him, and then he beats her, and then you come to find out that it was actually this guy and his girlfriend who hit the fetishist with their car, and then you find out that they killed him and then fucked next to his grave, and then they turned into a giant metal. They fight, and then they turn into a giant metal Macy's Day Parade
going.
float.
Keep going.
They fight. Okay. Hold on. So it's just so much.
It's not
so
that
much.
much.
It is so much. There's so much that happens. So
So they fight.
Well, no. So then the fetishist starts tormenting that guy, and then Japanese businessman turns into Tetsuo after murdering his own girlfriend, and then Tetsuo has to fight the metal fetishist, and then they combine because they might be gay for each other, I think, and then they turn into a big metal Macy's Day float parade and go to take over the world.
Yeah, you got it.
I mean,
Kinda,
Here
sorta.
we are. Here we are.
Kind of, sorta. And by the way, I will admit I looked that up after the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. That's what happened in the movie.
Okay,
Because
Jessica, please, just for posterity's sake, let's give the trivia to
Yes.
Lucas.
oh yes,
Yeah.
I wrote this question specifically with the HallowStream team in mind. This is a for you guys question, okay? I want you to keep
Cool.
that in mind. How many non-flesh penises are in this movie?
I can only think of one. The big drill dong.
it's Lucas's turn, Austin.
Oh, I thought it was for all of us.
No,
Sorry.
go back to your
yeah.
fucking corner.
The safe answer. To me, the safe answer is one.
Is that the safe answer or is that the right answer?
I think it's the answer I gotta go with because I can only think of one.
Incorrect. Who wants to steal?
3.
2, 3.
Cody.
Cody
It's
had
2.
2? 2 dong?
2.
I don't remember the other dong.
There is the drill penis, and then there's also the dream sequence crazy phallus that the girlfriend gives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
God, yes, that.
Yeah, she puts it in his butthole.
She does, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this does tickle. I put on some mask because I was too curious.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Good work. All right, Lucas,
Yes,
please
you go first. You
let
go
us know.
Tetsuo is my #1 body horror movie of all time.
Lucas, I believe you have to spin the punishment wheel now because you got the Halidon correct though.
Fuck the Halliday. We'll get to it.
This was number 5 on my list.
Dead last.
Dead last.
Wow.
Okay.
That is wild.
Can't
I
stand,
don't think.
cannot stand this. Just, just That's the same fucking thing. I
Oh,
can't.
wow.
stand it. I don't like movies like this where it's just imagery and insanity, and I fucking hated it.
This was
So
number
that's-
6 on my list.
I think having a general interest into that like 80s Japanese punk scene kind of helped me with this movie because of how influenced by that scene this movie was. This movie, like, to me, Japan needs to get their shit together and stop making anime and do more shit
Yeah.
like this.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
stop like fucking around with cartoons and make more Tetsuo.
Yeah, I hate anime too.
Like it's just it's crazy. Like, this is exactly what I want out of Japanese content. And of course this movie gave way to like all my favorites like Robo Geisha and Tokyo Gore Police and all that kind of stuff where just people are just going through crazy bodily changes and just taking this like super extreme attitude towards it and just kind of not giving a fuck if you're in for the ride or not. Like I like that's just the vibe of the movie is you're either in for this or you're not. Like, this is your thing or it's not, and I kind of don't care. This is like I love that I can feel the director like super expressing himself, and I can feel him like I can feel the love being poured into this movie because of how just completely insane it is. And I like the fact that it's like it's got a narrative technically, but if you have the know-how to put it together, then fucking good on you. And I'm super glad you spent all that money at film school.
So, who watched the Joe Bob cut?
I
did not.
did. Jessica did too.
So just that intro bit where Joe Bub's like, here's how the movie starts. Just
Great.
that opening prompt, it was like fucking cool. That's why I suggested watching. It's like, okay,
Yep.
now this movie actually, like, I can follow what's happening.
Cleared it up, because this movie goes like, I heard him say how it starts. It's like, okay, let's see how unintelligible it is. Movie starts, and then we don't get to the point where we understand that the businessman and his girlfriend killed the guy, hid his body, and fucked while he saw, until halfway in. Like, I would
At
have
all.
never fucking known.
Nope,
And
it's
I mean,
all deduction from like random imagery at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
It is honestly, if this movie had been just had a little bit more coherence, or perhaps had just put that scene at the beginning of the movie, I would have put it almost at the top of my list. I fucking loved this movie. I think
I
it
love
rips.
all the technological stuff it does. I love the way it's shot when they're going from end of town to the other end of town, just like
Yeah,
still
man.
image after still image,
Yeah,
just like
all
do
this
do
fucking-
do do do.
So cool. There's so many interesting things they do with this, like, and the fact that like the bodysuit is literally just fucking pieces of metal that are like glued together.
Mhm.
Everything about this movie looks so cool.
Yeah, the choice to make it black and white, just because he just knows, like, because everything's gonna fucking look better in black and white.
When
which
it
does.
just fits with the nature of this movie too. The fucking soundtrack to this, the
soundtrack
score,
is so good.
I
that
can't
fucking
get over
industrial
the
score by
soundtrack.
Chu Ishikawa. Fuck, dude, that shit.
The
rips.
soundtrack
the music.
fucks.
So in number 3, Shinya Tsukamoto was able to get Nine Inch Nails to do the theme song.
Shut the fuck up.
So the main title for the third one is Nine Inch Nails.
Is
And
that
they
is that
wrote-
the Bullet
they-
Man?
Yeah, they wrote the song for the movie.
Oh,
There's
fuck
3 of
yeah.
these.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
3.
And that one
Um,
came out in like 2009, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they're all a little bit. I haven't seen the other 2, but from what I understand, that 2 and 3 both kind of everything that you love about number 1 goes away with 2 and 3, which is interesting. So that means that Austin will just
I mean,
No,
actually,
maybe
you might
the
like
other
it.
ones.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I like
Um,
The third one's an American movie.
So I love this. I read about this while in preparation for talking about this movie. There is a quote from Shinya Tsukamoto's father. I'm probably not saying this gentleman's name right, by the way. But the quote from his father to his son is or was: "There are 2 types of human beings: those who are successful and those who fail. You are a failure, and you should not make this film." And then his dad kicked him out. And then he went on and made this movie.
Oh, that's so good.
The movie is and that's but I think knowing that and having that context in a way makes me I found this out after watching the movie. It makes me appreciate it even more, because it's almost like the movie is just a big old fuck you to everything. It's a
kind of
fuck
is.
you to Japanese culture. It's a fuck you to it's a fuck you to his dad. It's a fuck you to everything that's normal.
Yeah.
It- it's-
Conventional filmmaking.
Yeah.
Gay culture in Japan, not a big thing,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
so it,
Especially in the 80s,
Mhm.
to do anything gay, like, woo.
I
Yeah.
mean, the whole movie, it's fucking nuts. With that said, I can completely respect why Austin hated this movie, and
it's not a movie.
It's not.
I can completely respect all of Austin's feelings about
And your
This-
sanity.
this experimental film.
I'll give it film. I won't give it movie. And that it was
This
put
is-
onto film.
Like, if I wanted, like, this is the kind of movie you put on a projector at, like, your really hipster, like, at your hipster bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
insane imagery going on. Like, all that. This movie has all of
Oh,
it crammed
yeah,
into
I would
one.
definitely do
Well,
that.
and I feel like part of why I probably hate it is I just know there's some fucking hipster who would tell me about what a masterpiece it is, and I just like, oh, fuck off! It just fucking brilliant. Like just like cutting like video static, and then like and then back to like metal, and then they're flying around. It's just like, oh, fuck off.
I think there's.
Yeah.
I think there. I would actually, while I wouldn't necessarily, it would take a lot of convincing from someone for me to believe that there is like a lot of depth to this movie.
Mhm.
No, not at all.
I think that it's. I mean, I thought it was a fucking for what it is.
This
I think
is-
it's a masterpiece in experimental filmmaking.
This is a hardcore punk song in movie form.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah, baby.
If this is 10 to 15 minutes longer, I don't know what I
No.
would have done with it.
No, and I love that there are-
for viewers. This is a movie that's 67 minutes long.
No.
You
60
could-
no. The version we watched 64 minutes.
This is 64 minutes long.
There are three
you could do
versions.
this
apparently.
very quickly.
There's 64, 67, and 69, I believe. I want to know what those remaining minutes are.
I couldn't.
No, I'm
wait.
good.
64 was plenty.
Man,
Yeah.
Well,
this is a fucking trip.
boys, I do want to point out that there are only 2 punishments left on the board.
This
Do we
mask
want
is so
do-
itchy and tingly.
insist that you also put on a oh, it's so itchy and tingly?
So itchy and tingly.
Okay, cool. You didn't put enough on, I don't think.
I think you try to split the difference between what you did and just
Yeah,
see.
you caked it on.
That's fair.
I look diseased.
I wanted to. I thought that was supposed to. I look at those pictures that we saw. They look like rock
Yeah,
people.
I'm upset
Um,
about we didn't get those pictures.
Oh.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie, Austin, your skin's starting to like. It looks discolored.
Yeah, the mask is a different color.
No. I don't mean the mask. I mean like underneath the mask. Looks like
That's
your
a
skin
mask
is
of a different
discolored.
color.
Like you're having an allergic reaction to it.
Let's find out.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No. Well, I don't know. It looks pretty fucking raw.
Well, this isn't the best, environment to be judging.
Yeah, but to be just
There's a lamp behind
There's a lamp.
dark.
Oh yeah, here he goes.
Oh, here we go. Okay, great.
Well, at the end
Oh,
of this,
is quite.
we have an incumbent and a
The king's
a
ready.
continuing.
The king forever.
Yeah,
Don't-
This is hard to put on.
Monsterator, can you please run down the final point totals?
First and only double king.
All right. So with just smiles, we have Lucas. And then with 1,000 points, we have Curtis. With 2,000 points, we have Cody. And with 3,000 points, we
Oh,
have
this is hard to put on.
our reigning Hallow King again, Austin.
Campaign.
Wow.
I'm still a little
Second
irritated
term.
with myself for getting my fucking years confused from
Double
Beyond
king.
86.
God, if only Austin had just waited another half second.
No,
Anyway,
I'm the
it worked.
king. I think the
Uh,
last one too. I at the last minute spit out the right answer with
You,
Mountain
you
Dew.
did. You did.
I'm the king of the Kobe shot.
All hail Hallow King.
All hail the Hallow
All hail Cody, you got to do it.
I bow to no man.
Cody,
He is not a man.
No, he's a mere mortal. I bow to no man. Yeah, Hallow King. Nice.
All
Hail the Hallow King.
Yeah, all hail you, Austin. Hallow King.
Jesus, Cody.
Why you gotta be this way?
What?
You say all hail Hallow King.
I did. I said all hail you, Austin Hallow King.
Well, now you did.
That's the
No,
best.
it's what I literally just said a second ago. Okay, fine.
Mm.
All hail the Hallow King. There.
Thank
feel better?
Great. Thank you. God damn.
Pageantry.
This feels
There are
nice and
rules.
There's no rules.
So,
Oh, it gets real tingly.
that's body horror, friends and
That's
friends and
body horror.
family.
That's body horror. And I know that there's probably 0 of you actually watching right now because I see that there are 9, and at least 4 of those are us.
We don't have to say that because this is going to play in perpetuity on the site. So you know.
Oh, okay. Well, it's been going for 3 hours. So the fact that there's anybody still
Almost.
watching is a
Yeah.
miracle.
Great.
Maybe viewers, the next one will be shorter. For those of you that
We're
have
trying.
left already.
We might do less movies. We might do more movies.
We
Who knows?
could. You never know. Well, at some point we're going to be doing way more because we're going to do more franchises, and it's going to be a
Yeah.
fucking time.
We'll
It's gonna
figure
be
it out.
wild.
Maybe we'll be together again one day too, and we can just do this in person. So
that's
maybe-
True.
for those of you still watching or watching this later, which means congratulations, you watched 3 hours of this. If you put on a mask, we'd appreciate it.
Getting it?
Like outside in public, not like our bubble masks.
Oh yeah. I was.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in public, please.
No, but put a bubble mask on too. Help out.
Feels nice.
Help out Bio Aqua, little black pig bubble mask mud. Here
Yes.
you can buy a 2-pack on Amazon. It costs $15.
My skin feels great. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, my skin feels wonderful.
I'll save this. I'll save it.
Smooth and nice.
Lucas is
not
going to be perfect. And in 30 minutes, I'll have a perfect bubble face, and we won't get to see it.
Yeah.
I'll post it on our Instagram, which you should follow. It's somebody's
Hey,
going to tell us that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a reminder for those of you that don't know, we have a Charlie. Fuck you! You just started watching.
Stupid Charlie.
Thank you for watching, and you should listen to our podcast. It's called S.H.U.D.cast, and that's a thing. Do we have anything?
Listen to our podcast.
That's the thing.
So now we're going to talk in great detail
Mhm.
about the.
You thought this was over.
The
No,
male
Oh,
penis.
should we let Cody read his essay?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I can read my essay.
perfect.
I can read
Cody
my
is
yeah. I'll read my fragments of my essay. Hold on, I have to get it
Your video-
prepared.
your video drop. Just